Hello everyone, if you can hear me, please say Kaipo. Hopefully you can hear me. Got some nice sprites here. We got Fabul? I don't know, I don't think that's what it was. Okay, so it sounds like people can hear me. That's pretty good. Alright, so today we're going to do some more of our Final Fantasy IV translation comparison. We left off at Kaipo. We haven't met Rosa yet, but we're going to do that today. And then we're going to go to, we're going to like level up outside the desert for a while with Rydia. Then we'll go into the waterway, meet Tellah, and kind of just like explore and, you know, do some fights in that area. If we're lucky, we'll get to the boss, the Octomam. But I don't intend to do any Spoony Bard today. And hopefully we'll do that the next stream, which should be not this weekend, but I don't want to do these streams on weekends, so it'll be probably on Monday. It's currently Friday, I think. I often forget what day it is, so hopefully I'm right there. If Poe was here, she would correct me. All right, let's see. I had some more thoughts after listening to the streams. A really interesting concept that came to mind was having to do with this thing that we used to do in the Starmandenet community. We still do it, called the Earthbound Funktastic gameplay. And this goes back to like 25 plus years ago, maybe. I think on the record it's like says 2001 that we were doing this, but we might have done it in 99. I can't remember. But basically it's where the community just plays the game up to a certain point altogether. And then along the way, we'll have like community challenges. I would have like my trivia for the like Japanese version of the game and that kind of stuff. And the whole community would like once or twice a year get together and just play the game that, because we had nothing else to do, you know, Mother 3 was never coming out. Earthbound 64 was canceled. So we just kind of did that. The reason I bring this up now is because we have an opportunity here to use these streams in a similar way. If you'd like, you can play along to these streams and take your time, and you can kind of see how the text is in your version. Like if you play the DS version alongside this, you can kind of compare how the translations are going along with it if you'd like. And it'd be really cool if people would try to do that and play different versions as I go through this. And then in the comments, they can share, oh, this was this there, or oh no, they got this wrong in the PSP version. That way I don't have to do everything at once. And then it becomes like a community thing. And I really would enjoy having some of that. Speaking of this Earthbound Funktastic thing, Mother 3's anniversary, 20th anniversary is coming up in a couple months. And I've been asked to kick off. I think there's going to be a Mother 3 one of these coming up to celebrate. And I was asked to help kick it off and do like the first gameplay point. It's going to be in a couple months, and I don't know if this is going to collide with my Final Fantasy IV stuff that I'm doing right now, because this is going to take a long time now at this rate that we're going. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be in that or not, but I'm going to do something. My hope was that I would do Earthbound Central. I would like bring that back up sometime in a couple months, and then I could do some Mother 3 stuff on there. But the way this is going with Final Fantasy IV, I don't think I'm going to get the chance to bring all those things up because I'm so busy with this. I don't know. We'll see. It's a couple months away. But I hope you guys will consider playing along. Like even in the chat, if you guys want to play along and just goof around in the game and then go as slow as me. All right. Okay, so I got a lot of questions over the last couple streams. Like, what is the weird thing that I keep using on the weird sidebar next to the game? So I want to go over this just a teeny bit. So about 8 years ago, I programmed something I call the Wanderbar, and that's basically all these sidebars. And the Wanderbar is basically just a custom emulator, custom emulators, and then I attach a web browser to that emulator. I have to do this for each emulator, and it's a real hassle, especially with all this old code that doesn't work anymore. But basically it allows the game to talk to the browser, and the browser can technically talk to the game too. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like just an output window if you're a programmer, but having it in HTML and you can format it and you can add scripts and just all that stuff, it really opens up a lot. And you've probably noticed that like these Wanderbars do seem to do a whole lot. I originally made this kind of for my own purposes, but because I like to share the things that I have, I put it online. So if you'd like to try these things out for yourself, you can. The problem is that because it was programmed for me, I don't have like fancy setup windows and like menu options or anything like that. Like if you want to change the plugin that you're using, you have to edit setup.txt manually, like a programmer guy would. And that seems to get a lot of people stuck. Also, if you do go to download these Wanderbar things, at some point you'll probably get to my old tomato.fabi.net site, and you'll see that it says it's not secure. And that's, I mean, the site is safe to use and everything, and the programs on there are safe to use. It's just that the web technology has changed over the many years. So unless I like buy certifications every year and somehow tie it in with, I don't even know who to talk to do that with, like starma.net, fabi.net stuff. I have to do a whole bunch of technical stuff, but it's basically just old school web page. It's safe. It should be. And I've done that with, started with the Super NES, and then I did it with the NES. Then I did it with a GBA emulator, and luckily the GBA emulators will also do, or the Game Boy Advance emulator will let you, emulate also Game Boy Colors. So I have all these like separate emulators that I can use now to go through all these games. Someday I'll probably make a whole bunch of plugins. What I would actually like to do, because I'm not such a good programmer, sort of my weakness is once I can like put something out, I'll just upload it, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired, I don't want to do anymore. And it's just so tiring to go back into this kind of code. And I was hoping that like really good emulator authors and plugin writers and stuff could take this concept that I have here and just make it a part of like a multi-emulator thing, so I don't have to go through all of them. I would love to do like Lunar for Sega CD. I really, really want to do all the working designs games, but I have to learn how to do Sega CD programming and get emulators and compile, and all of the sidebar stuff now no longer is supported by stuff. I don't know. It's complicated. If you're a programmer, you probably know what I mean. So what you're seeing here are some plugins that you can actually use right now if you'd like. Some of them are more just like personal in-house tests. Like here, I did my Choctaw translation of Zelda. I didn't finish that yet. Like my translation is done. I just didn't do a full stream of it yet. Anyway, so I call this the Wanderbar, and it took me a year to come up with a name for it. I used to just call it the sidebar thing. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'm just going to name it after something. And then I looked and I saw my cat. Cat is named Wonder after the Shadow of Colossus character. Because when we first got her, she was climbing all over me, and I was like a titan to her. And then speaking of which, here is Poe bringing or carrying the cats. We got them exactly this day, 10 years ago. So it's a strange celebration, I guess. We got them from a humane society. All right. So there's that. Well, I think I have something else. Oh yeah, I do want to make a page on Legends of Localization that will have like a lot of resources that you can use as you follow along on these streams. Like I mentioned, you could type in the weird little text at the bottom, and you can keep up with the lines. You can do it all on your own. Or I was thinking I could just drop it all into a spreadsheet, and then stuff like that. So I need to update the site, but it takes a while. Oh, also for the Funktastic thing, I forgot to mention, if you'd like, let me even take her off now. Okay, this is fine. A couple of years ago, I wrote an Undertale book, a book about Undertale's Japanese translation and localization from English. It was super interesting, and it took me many, many years to do, and I was so tired at the end. But I had just enough energy at the end to make like a little thing called a passport. And the whole point of that was, if you want to learn Japanese and you want it to matter to you, whatever you're working on, like, so if you're a fan of Undertale or retro games, you can use it to teach you the basic Japanese. And then in the back is a glossary with all of the words. I went through the whole like Undertale script and pulled out all the Japanese words that really stood out. And I made a big old dictionary. So I've basically written my own dictionary at this point. You can get that on fangamer.com. And although I made it for Undertale, I really think you can probably use it for if you want to play Final Fantasy IV in Japanese alongside all of this. I would actually like to make those like game individual ones sometime, so maybe I'll make a Final Fantasy IV one after all this is done. So that would be like a good thing to do if you're going to do the funktastic thing I was talking about. Oh man, this note I wrote myself means nothing. Own ideas. What does that mean? All right. Oh yeah, while we're talking about the Wanderbar stuff, like a crazy far off idea I do have is all these old retro games, they're gonna get lost. Like all the scripts in there, like we preserve their music, we pull out the sprites and all that stuff, but we don't really preserve the text, we don't really preserve the scripts. And there's like, I don't know, thousands of Japanese games, and we're gonna lose all of that. We're gonna lose all of the scripts and the writings and things. So I think it would be a nice long-term goal for me to work on like Wanderbar plugins or just make script dumps of all of the games that are out there. These retro games, not like modern games. Modern games are different and weird. But I think that would just be fun, like a preservation-y thing. And I also just really like to reprogram and hack all these games. So it seems like it'd be a fun hobby. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else here to do. So we'll begin now. What do I have here? Anything? Oh yeah, I talked about that yesterday. That's the pronouns thing from yesterday. Let's see, what else? Well, I guess we'll just begin. There was some stuff I missed yesterday. I want to look at that. So as of today, the current leaderboard, we started from 100 points for everyone. Super NES is at negative 19 from 100. J2E is at 35, and Naming Away is at 0. So we've come a long way in a short time. As we get going, I think the J2E will start to see some of the bigger changes happening, and it won't be as strong as it seems right now. All right, so we're back. We're gonna go here. All right. Well, first I want to go to this. While we're speaking of J2E, I can't believe I didn't notice this. I must have been real tired last night. Which one? Oh, it's this guy. Okay, so I talked about this before. I read through all this, and it says basically that the prince of this area has a beautiful voice and appearance like that of a woman. In Japanese, that's what the second sentence says. Well, first, it's weird that the Super NES brought in the fact that he's a bard, because isn't that like his disguise in a weird way or something? I'm not really sure. But the fact that he's a bard isn't brought up in Japanese at all until much later. All right, but the point I want to bring to is this. In the old J2E, there was this whole section here. Well, let me read the whole thing. The castle to the north, Damsian governs all the desert, is how this was originally. The prince there has a beautiful body and a voice, I guess, like of an angel, like an angel. Then here's some new text. Looks like it's maybe, I'm gonna call this 2 sentences, but it's kind of spread apart. It's not my words, not that I'm, you know. So this is all happening from the 90s, and it's probably like, I don't know, 15-year-olds are working on this J2E stuff back in the day. Yeah. So this kind of fits with like 90s internet kids with the anti-gay stuff happening back then. But they took that out for the more modern patch. I wonder what other kind of strange historical additions we'll find like that. All right. So that was something I didn't notice yesterday. So since that was 2, I'm going to call this 2 sentences. Actually, since it got removed, I'm not going to take off points, but if it had been there, I would have taken off 2 points. All right. Okay, so that was that. I do want to, at some point, do, I never really do it, but I want to do an item duplication tricky thing, and then we'll never have to worry about money in this game. That'll be nice, so I don't have to worry about money. What I'd like to do right now is just get some levels for Iridia. It'll give me some time to like cool down my head. Alright, so here's the desert Sahagins again. We saw this already. Previously I mentioned... Oh yeah, Rod, okay. Previously I mentioned how going from Final Fantasy 1 to 2 in such a short time for me was like mind-blowing back in 92 when I first played this. And one of the things I really remember standing out was just how colorful this sprite was. Rydia's sprite. It's just like so colorful compared to what you were getting on the Final Fantasy 1 sprites. Just so colorful. I love it. Okay, she's gained a level. Every time it's going to do one of these things, it's going to be a little hiccup like that because it has to load all this text for all these versions. Alright, and just again, so you know, there's nothing really going on whenever you see a book there when it comes to these kind of messages. It's just a formatting that apparently changed in Easy Type. Alright, she learned Blizzard technically, or Burizado. It's just kind of a condensed version of the English word blizzard. Blizzard, how could we do that in English? I don't know. But Blizzard became Ice 1, and Super NES became Ice and J2E. That's strange that they would call it Ice and not Blizzard, or some kind of Blizz, and then Blizzard in the name anyway. I won't mark off points on this because that kind of stuff is weird. I mentioned it yesterday that like menu text has its own style that you have to deal with. Alright, Rydia leveled up again. I love when you get multiple levels in a row. There's a nice feeling. Okay, she learned Cure. We talked about the Cure name earlier. Spartanberry played it before knowing what to do with equip item, how to equip items. Wow, back in 95. I was kind of dumb. I probably did stuff like that in my early times. Alright, so she's made it to level 47. Over here. Okay, yeah. We can go to these magic menus and see what's going on. So like if we need to double check them, we can do that. Anything going on here? Nope. Alright. She's probably going to need to heal soon, so I'm going to give her a cure. I don't remember if there's one of those peninsulas of powers out here, but I won't deal with it. This is called a sandworm in all versions. Good job. That's pretty cool. And then, I like to just do the rod out right now. I don't know why. Like the fact that you could use weapons like that, the equipped weapons like that, was not something that was clear to me at first when I first played the game. So once I figured it out, I was like, whoa. Then I had to wait forever. And I'm like, I wonder if Yang's fire stuff and we'll do it all. I was so excited to find out. And then when I rented it again, I was like, ah, those don't do anything. You got anything new? No. Alright, just some simple grinding here. We're about to go in kind of a hard area, and I don't want to have her too weak yet. So I kind of like to grind out here until she's at a certain level, or it feels safe. Alright. We can just do that. We'll get through this quicker. We got Blizzard, so... Yeah, let's do Blizzard. Is that considered the back row when it's back that far back like that? Or is that still front row now? That was something I was never sure of, especially in this game where rows are kind of weird. Okay, we learned in Japanese... Okay, we learned what is called the sight spell in Super NES, J2E, and Naming Way. In Japanese, it's literally called Saitoro. Like, sight. You can see here. It can mean like a website, sort of site, or it can mean sight as in the vision, maybe. But then there's a ro after it. And that's just like a fun deviation-y word, like just to make it sound like a spell name, Saitoro. In English, we don't seem to care about those kinds of, oh, it shouldn't be the exact word. It becomes clearer, I guess. Like she learned the spell name, so now she can use it, but she could have just yelled the word sight at any time, I guess. Okay, so we got an antidote here. Oh yeah, so antidotes didn't exist in Super NES because it was all combined into one item, so that's why it says dummy over there. It looks like we have an easy type change with the Dokukeshi, the antidote change. Oh yeah, dummy. Even though it was dummied out they took out the space here in the description, and they seem to have done that with all descriptions. I don't know why. Cures poison status. Alright. Okay, we'll take a rest in a second, but I think I can get one more through here. One more level will be... Oh yeah. Oh, the most important thing. I mentioned this a couple times. But one time, or a couple times actually, back in the 90s when I would play this. Oh, did that happen here? It might have happened here. But doing this spell out here, especially in this desert, I could get it to happen. It would slightly rotate, like mode 7 rotate the map as it scaled out. And I could never understand what caused it. And now that I know technical stuff, I kind of want to go look into it and see if I can get it to happen again. And maybe if I can get it to happen again, I can play with it and learn how to mess with it. I don't think that rotated, but sometimes it'll do it. And again, I think it might have to do with having the hovercraft. Alright, we're just gonna go back in and get some health. I'll do a couple more levels with her, and then we'll begin the Rosa scene. I could have done a tent, I guess. What I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the waterway at some point, get Cecil his new equipment, and then do the duplication trick on the old equipment. I guess I could do it on the new ones too, but on the old equipment, because somehow I always seem to fully lose all of the items when I try it. I don't want to lose my weapons and shields going into this waterway. Okay, I'm gonna do a save. Okay, she's level 4. Okay. We got a new enemy here. Okay. So this guy here, this big old centipede looking guy, millipede, something. In Japanese, he's called Hondo Regu. And if you're not thinking fast or thinking hard, and if you're not seeing the context, it looks like it's the word hand and the word leg together. Hondo Regu. But in actuality, that Hondo is short for 100. So it's trying to say 100 legs. And that's why we see the J2E say hand legger here, which is definitely a mistake. Okay, this is a case where if there's a weird mistranslation like this, then we'll go that way. He's a hand legger. He used to be something else. Hand leg. Yeah, so I guess in the 90s, like the up and coming translator to be didn't catch the 100 thing. And then naming does call it Hund legs. I don't know if that's from like the DS versions or later, but Hund leg is closest to where we got there. And the Super NES calls it Sandpede. All right. And then so the easy type went from Hondo Regu, which is like 2 different English words. They went with the Japanese words Omukade, and that's like big, whatever that bug is. What is that, like millipede? I can do it here. Mukade. Centipede. I always kind of forget what they are, like the difference between centipede and millipede. And then I remember, and then I forget. It's one of those words. All right. Let's kill them out here. I'll do a rod. I like the rod because it does a good physical attack from the back row for Rydia at this moment. But then we'll get the Blizzard Rod pretty soon, and that's pretty good too. Oof, critical attack. Hand legger is dead. Right. Lydia, her name, I forgot to mention fully yesterday that her name could have been Lydia instead of Rydia. But in the official materials, which the ones that are really better done, goes with the R, Rydia, which is nice. But it could have just equally as it have been Lydia. Some fangamer friends of ours actually have a kid named Rydia, and I really think that's so pretty. I really like that. It's so nice that this weird game is now in real life. Although I don't know what I think about like baby Sephiroth. I have to come to terms with these feelings. Okay, she learned Thunder, which is Lit 1 and Super NES and Bolt. And J2E, you think they would like try to keep it closer, right, to Thunder? It is literally Sanda, They don't have th in Japanese, so they use s sa, so sanda. They don't have sound, so they have so sanda. And thunder. So out of these, it's like naming way is the closest. Alright, so that's the same. Bolt was learned is the same, okay. Yeah, Radia sounds more fantastical anyway. Let me try it again. I gotta try the sight thing. Come on. Oh. I got it to happen another time. I remember when it was over by the Tower of Babel on the above ground, that whole little continent. I was just like kind of walking around, playing around, and I got it to happen again there one time. But these are ancient memories from 30 years ago. Who knows, like this isn't even the same version that I'm playing, so it might not even be possible on this original Japanese. Google got it as Lydia in the Funky Fantasy Google translations that we did, apparently. That's right. No levels. Sometimes I'll like not just walk around the lake like that, but for some reason today I want to be lakey. I remember finally getting here in After Years. Something, it was around this point in After Years where I'm like, yeah, this game, I'm not sure about this game anymore. I never finished it, and I'm kind of not excited to play After Years anymore. It really does just feel like a weird fanfic to me, a poorly conceived fanfic meant for mobile games way in the early days where everything was episodic and it was like pre-iPhone era, so there's something about it. It doesn't sit well with me. But if you like After Years, that's cool. I don't mind. I never want to be the guy who tells people what to play and not play, what to like and not like. Alright. Okay, she's about to level up, so we'll do that. Has Square finally settled on like what to call summons, what to call all these things? Or are they still kind of like wishy-washy about things? I would assume from all the great things I've heard about the 14's localization, or just translation, I'm not sure. It seems like they would have a pretty solid base by this point. So see how there's two of these moths and there's the number 2 there? That 2, and then there's a space before that 2. They steal window space. It's so mean. So some of my hacks that I do, I'll just remove that code and then it will let us have a couple extra letters. Alright, we got some levels. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna do a sleep here, and then we'll begin the. Oh, I think Paul might be home. We'll begin the Rosa. It just says good night, like in all the languages. I don't need to stop on that one. Yeah, out of all the After Years versions, for me, the one that stands out the most to me and most appeals to me is the WiiWare one. Mostly because it looks and feels the most like this game. Like it feels the most like what I've been calling, I've been talking to Poe about this stuff. I've been calling this the original canvas, and like remakes and ports and things. They're what did I call those? Like reproductions, not in a bad way, but retellings. I don't know. I forget how I used to phrase it, but the original canvas is important to me as a translator, and I don't know. Like I always want to look at the original text before whatever the 15th edited version instead. Okay, so I gotta do my ritual here. Yeah, I think Poe's coming. All right. This old lady inside this house, has a lot to say to us. So here we go. Bardo. Oh man, I need to drink some water. I forgot. I need to drink before I speak. Alright. So, she's old lady talking. バロンから来た娘さんが村の前で倒れていたんです。So a girl, like she's being polite, adding san, and then also doing this. Hello, Po. Oh, she has good clothes on today. So a girl from Baron came from Baron, and then was collapsed in front of the village. So she didn't stumble, and that's something else was saying. She was just in front of the village and was already collapsed on the ground. So what do we got here? Oh yeah, we got this again. A girl from Baron was kept from falling down. That's another one of this. This falling down, in the older days, falling down often came from like taoreru or taosu. And those are sometimes falling down is okay, but as you can tell, this is pretty weird. And then in Final Fantasy Adventure was also had multiple falling down instead of collapsed or fainted. I don't know how to explain it well off the top of my head, but I have multiple articles on this. Okay, so I don't like that, so SNES goes down. A girl from Baron collapsed right outside this village. I would say was collapsed, but it's fine. It looks like we got a change here. Maybe I'll just formatting and J2E. The like kind of politeness is missing, but I think that's one of the things that's just going to get lost in the translation by default. And if whether or not you want to reinflate things is up to you as a translator or localizer, whatever you want to call it. All right. In naming way, a lot of this text looks like it got really trimmed down in naming way, so we found this barren woman outside town. Oh man, the way it's phrased. First, I wouldn't call Musume-san, I wouldn't just call that woman this barren woman. Actually, the word this isn't even in there in Japanese. So it's like Musume is like a Musume-san is like technically daughter, like someone else's daughter because you're talking up a little bit. But it can just be girl. And then adding the san is, polite. Yeah, I'm gonna go off on naming way there. Okay, here we go. かわいそうに高熱病にやられて上ごとでせしると I'll check out the cross 繰り返すだけで Okay, so kind of the feel of this one is the poor thing was done in by a high fever and just keeps repeating Cecil in her like sleep, or is it like delirium? Incoherent muttering, so she's kind of muttering, just keeps repeating those because of the fever. Alright, this became Super NES. She kept calling the name. Do you know Cecil? The point that she has a high fever, the fact that she feels bad for the girl, and the fact that she's like muttering this over and over. A bunch of those are kind of dropped in the Super NES. She kept calling the name, does the kurikaisu dake de. And the do you know Cecil kind of fits in with that too. So they kind of broke that apart. But I'm gonna take a point. I'm gonna at least take 1 point off on Super NES because it's missing the whole point about her feeling bad and also the high fever. And J2E, this became she was delirious with fever and kept calling out Cecil. Alright, the point about, well, I guess Konetzubyo is like high fever. I won't mark them off on that. The part about her being the Kawai Soni, like she feels bad about it, like poor girl. You expect poor girl maybe in there. The poor thing is what that kind of gives off. That's missing in J2E. I would like to have had that. And then naming way, also because it has trimmed everything down, says she keeps calling the name ... Do you know Cecil? It looks like this is just the Super NES rephrased. It's missing the part about feeling bad for her and the high fever. And also the fact that it's muttering, so I'm going to take off 2 on this because there's multiple things going on in there and I don't want to try to tally them up. Alright, so we'll go with that. Now we're going further into this house, and then suddenly a cutscene starts. And Cecil, or us, I don't know, just shouts, Rosa! And that's in all the versions there. Alright, so now the game is in control and doing a cutscene. And Cecil now rushes to a bed, and Rosa's in the bed. She doesn't look well. Cecil says, Rosa, ... in Japanese. And that's reflected in all those versions. Let's continue. Alright, so Rosa now goes ... she's too probably sick or weak to say anything. And then the rest of the window is empty for right now. In Super NES, that ... is there, and J2E it's there. Naming Way has kind of compressed everything, so I don't know how to comment on this one. But it's ... Cecil ... Right. Then we press the button in a new window with new text going, kind of like a grunting sound or just something ... Like the sound, you know, when you're making, I don't know, what do we call that in English? Like, how do you describe what that word is? Like just a groan? Yeah, a groan. So she's just groaning. And the groan became, in Super NES, in J2E, it became ooh. Those feel off, and I don't really know how to improve upon them, though. I probably would have put some N and G's in there, like I don't know. Just little things like that. You got to put care into these little things too, so I probably would have spent a minute or two trying to figure it out, especially with an important scene like this. Alright, so she's doing her groaning, but the groaning's missing from Naming Way. I'll take a Naming Way point off. And now a new window pops up, and she's now saying Cecil, Seshiru ... And then Super NES does ... Cecil with no punctuation after that. J2E does Cecil ... And then we see the Cecil there in Naming Way. So those are all there. She's groaning and then saying her name. And now she says emphatically in a new window, Shinanai de Seshiru, with an exclamation. And that means don't die, Cecil, don't die. And kind of, I would say, you could mark this as maybe a feminine way of saying this. And there's a bit of a worry in it, obviously. In the Super NES, this don't die, it became don't leave me, Cecil. And I'm just gonna say that they changed die to leave me. So I'm gonna do -1 on that, because it's the whole point of she's worried that he's gonna die. She was, after everything that happened in Mist and all that, she doesn't know that he's still alive. And J2E also says don't leave me, Cecil. There's a difference between don't die, Cecil and don't leave me, Cecil. I'll let the people in the chat and the people in the comments, if you want to pick apart nuances like that, please do. In Naming Way also it says ... don't leave me ... exclamation. So these don't leave me's are all, well, I would mark those all off. Also, because there's stuff missing from Naming Way that I've kind of already gave Naming Way a big beating, bashing right here. I won't mark any more off on them. Alright, so now we're in control again. That's basically all she says right now. She can't say much or do much. She's just really worried about us. Don't die, Cecil. Alright, if we go to this bookcase over here, there's a bookcase in the room too. You can read it. In Japanese, it says Sabaku no konetsu byou ni wa ... Sabaku no hikari ga tokko yaku ... And that's saying for the high fevers in the desert, the high desert fevers, the light of the desert is the best medicine, like the best fast-acting medicine. Tokko-yaku, what do we call that? Specific medicine, wonder drug, silver bullet is how this thing translates those. So it's saying for high fevers of the desert, the drug that you want is the light of the desert, Sabaku no hikari. You can see that Sabaku is desert and hikari is light. So the light of the desert, or the desert light. In Super NES, this whole thing became the best remedy for the desert fever is ... the sand ruby. So we can see that desert light became sand ruby. It became like an actual object. An object to obtain. Maybe that's why they called it that. Because later we have to go get this thing. And obtaining light is strange. But it's I don't know. I don't know why they changed that. Sand ruby instead of... Yeah, and that... I'm gonna just say that there was a reason they did it, and I don't know what it is, so I won't mark that off. But it's not as close as to the Super Famicom as it could have been. So J2E says the light of the desert, and capitalizes the L and the D to make it a proper noun. The light of the desert is the only cure for desert fever. Desert fever is also in caps. Oh man, desert fever. We actually have something like that out here in the Southwest. My dad got it real bad, and it messed him up for the rest of his life. It's called valley fever. Look that up. It's pretty bad stuff if it gets in your organs and shit. I mean stuff. Alright. The light of the desert is the only cure for desert fever. But for some reason there's dots on this book, and I don't understand why. The book isn't going to be having emotional connections here. Alright. This J2E just had some slightly different formatting, it looks like. And Naming Way says, the only cure for desert fever is the light of a sand pearl. And sand pearls and, capitalized the S and P. So, desert light of the desert became sand pearl. So again, they wanted to go back to make it more of a physical object, I guess. And I seem to recall that sand pearl is what they might have called it in GBA and on. Or maybe they called it that in PS1. Oh, if someone can check my site, let me know. Alright. Now we gotta talk to this old guy. He's the last guy. This old wizard looking guy. He looks like he has a funny mouth and that he's drooling now that I look at it. Alright, so this old wizard guy who's kind of watching over Rosa and now says in Japanese, Konetsubyou o naosu ni wa maboroshi no houseki, sabaku no hikari ga hitsuyou nan ja ga, Antorion toyu mamono ga sumu dokutsu ni arun ja, ... And that's saying, to cure the high fever, you'll need the gem, the like kind of rare or like mystical gem stone known as the light of the desert, but it's in the cave. It's in the cave where monsters live, or it's in the cave known as Antline where monsters dwell. ... And he's saying it in kind of an old person style here. Alright, people in the chat are talking about the "Don't Leave Me, Cecil" thing. There are good arguments both sides where "Don't leave me" could mean "don't die." But if you want to make 100% sure in translation and try to avoid ambiguities like that, and most faithfully convey what was being said in Japanese, there's certain wordings will be better than others, and I feel like that one is like, it could go either way. All right, continuing. So in this whole line, this whole old guy's line, it's one line in Japanese, but it became two in Super NES, and that's because it is like technically two lines stuck together with a but in the middle. So it says, we need sand ruby to cure the fever, but it is in the lair of the monster called Antlion. So he's not saying we technically in Japanese, he's just kind of like giving information. Like he's almost as good of an information source as those books we were just reading. This could be a you, but he's more speaking just in general in Japanese, but it's okay. Antlion, yeah, in Japanese it's called Antorion. Does that show up in here? Nah. Alright, I'm cool with that. Alright, so in J2E, in order to cure the desert fever, you need the light of the desert, ... An elusive gem found only in the Antlion's lair. Oh, okay, I see I messed up a little bit earlier. So you need the desert light gem but it's in a cave where a monster named the Antlion dwells. So that, yeah, I was calling the cave the Antlion, and I don't know why. So it's saying that the monster is named Antlion and it's in the cave. Okay, so here we go. Is the layer of the monster called Antlion? That's exactly what that is. Good job. An elusive in J2E, going back to J2E, it says an elusive gem found only in the Antlion's lair. I guess the part that it's a cave already, like that we're going to be sent to a cave is what this is saying. Like after we saved Rydia, what was our motive? Like as a translator, you always got to remember like what's going on, why is this happening, why is this person saying this, why is this person doing this? Like with every line, you always have to keep these things in mind. And so after we saved Rydia from those guys, and she regained her health, what is moving us forward in the story? There's not a whole lot. Like you have to kind of take yourself out of the game and put yourself into the game. Like put yourself into the game and pretend that it's not a game anymore. If you were Cecil, like what would your next moves be, kind of thing. You gotta kind of see through the eyes of every character when you're translating. It's kind of like when you're an actor and you have to sort of get into a character. As a translator, you're doing that. You're getting into their minds. So what is moving Cecil at this point? Currently, there's kind of like sort of like a cane is somewhere maybe. We kind of need to go talk to the other countries about what's going on, but with all the disasters that's going on, there's nothing like clearly moving us forward. So right as soon as we got out of that inn, they're pushing us to this Rosa, and Rosa is now going to be our motive, and that's going to send us through the waterway. It's going to send us to Damsian, and it's going to send us to the Antlion. So that's what's happening. All right, so some like details are missing slightly in the J2E, and also maybe elsewhere. I already looked at that, right? All right, it looks like there were some slight changes in the J2E patches, but mostly just formatting, I guess. All right, so there's some hesitation we're seeing from this old man from the dots at the end. And we don't see that in Super NES. We see it in the J2E, and we see it in the naming way. I won't mark anything off. Okay, so in naming way, the same guy says, a sand pearl could cure her fever, but they're in the antlion's nest. So this is suggesting that there's multiple sand pearls. There's no indication that there's multiple things of this item, but like for there to be documentation, clearly there must be multiple. So the part about we're going to be sent to a cave is what we're being told. And, this is our main motive now. We got to go to this cave. So the J2E doesn't mention that we're going to have a cave coming up. It doesn't really matter to the end user, but because this is we have to care about what the writers were thinking and intending. Also, like we have to worry about multiple sides as a translator at any time. So I'm going to take that off because this is kind of like a gameplay thing where it's sending us in that direction. And then I'm going to take one, for the same reason, I'm going to take one off of naming way. Hopefully some of that makes sense, and I probably messed up some explanations. I apologize. Alright, so we're pretty much done with this place. Like all these NPCs have been giving us clues like, oh, there's a waterway up ahead, but we can't go. But nothing has been really pushing us to the waterway. But now we have the Rosa thing. Now we have something pushing us. Always think about what's pushing things. Like people's motivations are super important in characterization. And then when you put all those characterizations together, it becomes an interwoven story. And if you don't take care of those individual threads, you're going to lose a lot of that final quilt, I guess you could say. It's Alright, I think we're okay to go. It'll be a little tough, but we're gonna go. We're probably gonna go get Tellah, then we're gonna come back. We'll do some stuff, but we're gonna go get Tellah and come back, and I don't remember what my plans were. There's a way to get this guy to do like a tornado on you or something. I don't remember how. This is how it felt yesterday when that guy came to the door. It's like, it's just a sudden surprise attack or something. There could have been an animation there. Alright, I'm gonna do a tint out here because that will restore stuff. Oh, I didn't even give her any equipment. Did I? Oh, I did pretty good, I guess. Or she's well equipped already, I guess.
Naming way isn't circling the drain anymore.
Yeah. So what happens with a lot of these games, and we can already see it in the Super NES version, is that bits and pieces will get extra attention over others, and some won't get any attention. And I believe that's probably going to be the case with the naming way in J2E. We're just barely into the game, but we're going to hit parts where things get changed drastically in both versions, and then we'll start to see things move in interesting ways. If you'd like to start taking like just fun bets on what the final scores are going to be at the end of the game, now's your chance. If you can call it ahead of time, then you are a translation master.
It's time to bring back the tomato points.
Oh yeah, give out Kool-Aid. All right, so we've entered a different cave to the north of Kaipo, and it's called the Chika Suimiaku Minamiguchi, and that means underground like water vein south entrance. And you can say all that in Japanese with just a few characters, but it's pretty wordy when you translate it out, and so they have to condense things down and cut things out. So Super NES says Watery Pass South. J2E says Underground Channel -S, and then the naming way says Watery Underpass South. So they're all kind of doing their own things. It doesn't really matter, but knowing that it's the south is important. Like the south exit is good. Knowing that it's an exit is good to know. Would have been nice to have the word exit in there somewhere, but that's okay. Every time I hear that kind of phrase, like Minamiguchi or something, rather than thinking of like, I don't know, train stations, I immediately think of Ikebukuro Westgate Park or something like that, an old Japanese drama from when I was in Japan. Now, did she get fire? Oh yeah, she doesn't have fire yet, that's right. Yeah, we need to get Tellah to get fire. She learns fire later as part of the story. So another really cool thing back in the day was Final Fantasy 1. Enemies had like weaknesses, but there was never quite clear about what they were, and they never seemed to super work except a couple times. But in this game, enemy weaknesses are really clear, and you can do cool things like give healing potions to undead enemies to take away health. I'm just gonna die here. I'm gonna run away from these guys. But the fact that all the weaknesses are so well handled in this version compared to the first game, it really changed. It was another case of like, whoa, games can be like this. The fact that you can cure undead things to kill them, that's crazy. And then like fire attacks work on things the way you would want them to. In the Final Fantasy 1 for NES, sometimes there would be weaknesses, but they never really made much sense. Sometimes you get like the giant sword and you're good against giants, but that's about it.
Sparrenberry says weaknesses many programming bugs in F1.
Oh yeah. This game also is so full of bugs. We're gonna take advantage of a couple soon. Alright, so
Tellah!
No, I'm sorry everyone. So we're gonna miss a line of text. But basically you can come here before you save Rydia, or like, I don't know, before you see Rosa, you can come here. And if you do that, he won't let you through. And then he has some extra text. He basically says, "Who are you? Go away." Something like that, I forget. And I have it on my site, but we're gonna miss that text. I've been trying to keep, and I get every line of text I can, but we missed one. 100% run, failed.
100% text run.
Yeah. Alright. This sprite's kind of neat looking. Just gonna look at this old guy. So we're now on a bridge and the old guy is blocking the way. Kind of reminds me of
Benkei!
Benkei, yeah, but it makes me think of that Monty Python.
Oh yeah.
He's like, give me,
guy with one leg.
Yeah, like answer these questions. Alright, so we have an old man. He's now talking. It's Rojin is his name, so it's an old man. Rojin. And he goes, "No, onushi, yoku mireba ankoku ken no tsukaite jana. Tanomu te o kashite kure." Okay, so immediately this guy is clearly a super like stereotypical old guy, but kind of in a sage way, I guess, in this case. That, or maybe he could come from like old samurai times, maybe. He's using onushi for you, the word you. Onushi. It's kind of archaic. You.
Oh.
When referring to one's equals or inferiors. One time I accidentally said that when I was studying in Japan, and they laughed. I was trying to say something.
Word, you want to use it?
No, I said on accident. Okay, and then I was saying, he does like a sound here. He goes, nu, onushi. So there's like a something there. It's not like a word at all. It's like a sound, and it's an unusual sound to be hearing. Okay, on closer look, you are a wielder of the dark sword, yes? I beg you, lend me your help. It's kind of how that all works. In Japanese, this became an old man. What? Exclamation only. You wield the dark sword? Help me, I beg you. So this what is how this you. You could probably see like you there, like oh you there, is how onushi could maybe be done. It just became what. It makes me think of what the what in Symphony of the Night.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't say it, but Alucard's.
Help me, I beg you. These are okay. The fact that he's kind of old, like he's definitely an older speaker, and the style is archaic and wizard-like. This is all missing in Super NES, and that's just again because of the way translation works. You're gonna have to reinflate those things if you want them in there. So in J2E, this became, oh, you wield the dark sword? Please help me. So he's saying on closer inspection. So this is, as I was mentioning, if you came to him earlier, he's like, get out of here. And now he's looking at us closer. And so there's a difference here. So now that I look closer. I like that. I like that little detail. Like he's an old man. He's now finally looking closer at us. And that's kind of taken out of the Super NES. I'll take it out of the J2E. And naming way has this removed also. It's a tiny detail, but I like it. Also, the way he talks is kind of nice. I like it in Japanese. So Cecil now says "doshitan desu," and he's using the "des" because it's just like a straightforward, polite. And that is not archaic at all. You could just hear that any moment in Japan. It's probably being said 5,000 times this very second. Right. So he's basically saying, what's the matter, or what's wrong, something like, doshitan desu, what's the matter, what's wrong? So Cecil here in Super NES just goes, what? So he's more like in Japanese, he's being polite and being like, oh, what's the matter? And Cecil is just saying what here, and you lose all characterization. And you could almost take that in another way, where he's like, help me, I beg you, and Cecil's like, what? Oh, there's a little bit of stuff missing there.
And also, it kind of seems rude.
Yeah,
But
it's very terse. Yeah, so what's the problem? He says in J2E, and that's okay. Yeah, I like that. Like, what's the matter? I might say. Oh wow! So naming way cuts a lot out of this. So we're gonna have to do after this. We're gonna have to do like a tally up of what was removed. All right. So next line. Well, first, I'll take one out of there. The old man is still just written as old man. 娘のアンナが銀融詩人に騙され、ダムシアンに行ってしまったのじゃ。So my daughter Anna was tricked by a bard. Yeah, I guess you could put all of Ginyu Shijin into bard. Let me see how this turns. Ginyu Shijin, a troubadour minstrel. Bard is real short.
Yeah.
So that's real nice. Bard is so short. You can kind of see bard and troubadour a teeny bit. I don't know. Alright, so that became, oh yeah, was tricked by a bard or whatever, and then wound up going to Damsian. Like, the going there is a bad thing. That shimata here is a pretty important word here. it's a bad thing and he doesn't like it that has happened. And then he's speaking again like an old man with a jaw instead of da. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And this in Super NES became Old Man. A wicked bard tricked my daughter into running away to Damcyan. All those... Well, wicked bard. So wicked isn't technically in the Japanese, but he's also really upset and clearly is unhappy with this, as I just pointed out. So I'll leave wicked, that's fine. Then that became in J2E. My daughter was tricked by a bard and went off to Damcyan. Went off is pretty good for Ite Shimata. I mean, I can see where that's coming from. You get a little bit of that feeling in there. So there's some stuff that might be missing. My daughter was tricked by a bard. Okay, that's all in there. Dark Knight, hear my plea. A wicked bard tricked my daughter into running away to Damcyan. It looks like it's just pulling from the Super NES here. A wicked bard tricked my daughter into running away to Damcyan became a wicked bard tricked my daughter into running away to Damcyan. It's the same.
Yeah. Oh, but just there's a dot.
Yeah, the Super NES had the exclamation. Okay, so I didn't take points off for the wicked thing, but all that stuff at the start is just gone. Can't believe they would just wipe all that out. Alright, I'll stick with that. Looks like there's going to be another line here that breaks through the window. So the old man is going to continue to say, Damcyan ni fukitsu na keihai ga tachikomete oru. In Damcyan, an ominous presence is like building up, something like that. Fukitsu, ominous, sinister. Keihai is like the feeling of, when there's like maybe you get the feeling there's someone in your room or someone's watching you. That feeling is what keihai is. Your ke is the key, like you hear ki all the time, like spirit.
And genki.
Yeah, genki. And then the hai is just distribution. So you sense a key. You just sense a key somewhere. So you're sensing someone's presence, basically. So there's an ominous presence. And Tachikomeru is hangover and shroud. And he's speaking in his little bit older style with his order here. Also, that's kind of not polite sometimes. Right, so there is...
Should keihai be the word we learned today?
Keihai?
Keihai.
If you want, but I don't know.
We might forget by the end.
Yeah, there might be a better word that comes up. Well, I'm going to have to take a break in a bit, a little bathroom break in a bit. Alright, so, and, ... In Super NES, this became and, ... Since evil in that direction of Damcyan. Okay, I'll leave that. Technically, this and isn't in there. It's not a huge deal. If I hadn't marked off an and here, that would just be weird. Alright, so in the J2E, this just became and I sense great evil near there, ... Yeah, in English we don't like to repeat ourselves too often too quickly, so saying Damcyan twice in a row, one line after the other, that became like a semi-pronoun there. I won't take that off there, but he's really intense about it in Japanese with the exclamation there, and it became a ... in J2E. I would have liked them to change that delivery. Okay, in naming way, all of that about like the ominous presence just says, I sense she is in great danger. So that's I'm gonna remove that because that's missing kind of the point. As we later learn, there is an evil presence in Damcyan. But just great danger is all he senses here. There's minor things. Oh yeah,
It's just new people.
Yeah, the for people who don't know, Poe's name in the chat is that sound the Grudge mate.
Yeah, that's me.
And we did that a couple years ago, and it's kind of like this little meta game that we do. Chat and like randomly chat in a Twitch chat sometimes and see how people will react.
The streamers.
Yeah, the streamers, like, or the people in the chat, but
yeah,
we get them to say the thing. can we get them to make this sound? It's kind of, and if we do, we have like
I have a list.
book where we like have a score.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like this fun extra meta game we've been playing. So if you don't recognize that sound the Grudge makes, that is Poe.
That's me.
I mean, Poe is a ghost. So, all right. All right. So I sense presence. All right. So we're about to get the final line here. All right. Now Cecil says, "Dewa anata ga kenja tera." Yeah, if it had been anta ga, yeah, that wouldn't have been good. Anata ga. Dewa anata ga kenja tera. So then you are the sage Tellah. Is what that is. He's coming to the realization. That then is in there. I really like that then is. You must be the sage Tellah. This became in Super NES. That became then you are the sage Tellah in J2E. And then Cecil, this became you must be sage Tellah, period. I would have liked them to put the period in, or the exclamation in there, because he's like, oh.
Like, oh, there you are.
Yeah, it's kind of, when I mentioned delivery, think about people acting this out. Like, what if there had been like a Final Fantasy IV anime that came out after this, like the year after, and all the text was exactly the same. If you could hear the Japanese voices with this, but then, I don't know, just try to think of it that way. Pretend that you can...
Pretend it's being acted
Yeah,
out.
pretend these things are being acted out. It's kind of being presented that way, in a new digital way. You must be the sage Tellah. Oops. Yeah, if you're new, all these negative points and things, we've been counting down from the number 100. And anytime there's a noticeable issue, I'll knock off a point.
And then if there's something especially impressive,
Yeah.
give a point.
Yeah, so we've been kind of falling and falling. This is our 4th stream, by the way. Or this is how far we got. All right, okay, we got another big old block of text. After this block, I want to go take a break, like a 5-minute break.
Okay.
All right, so Tellah here says, Ikanimo Tellah ja. Indeed, I am Tellah. Ikanimo is pretty, I really like Ikanimo, and just, it's one of my favorite phrases to hear people say in Japanese anime and entertainment. Ikanimo, indeed, really. Indeed, I am Tellah, exclamation, is what that means. No exclamation, in SNES it becomes I am Tellah, and with no exclamation. You could also emphasize the word M, so I am Tellah. If that could get a little bit of the Ikanimo, but none of that's happening. So in J2E it became I am Tellah, or I am Tellah, exclamation.
She's pouting.
And then in aiming way this became Indeed. He doesn't rename himself, but the Indeed is in there.
I like that.
Yeah, Indeed for Ikanimo, that's kind of my go-to usually. Indeed. I really like that, okay. Going back to Japanese, 心配になってダムシアンに向かう途中なんじゃが、この先の地下の湖におる、oh, we're gonna break a line here. Okay, ダムシアンに向かう途中なんじゃが、この先の地下の湖におる巨大な魔物に手こずっとる。So he's talking a little like non-standard Japanese here, I guess. You get a little bit of the older kind of vibe. So he's saying, indeed, I'm Tellah. I was worried, and so on my way to Damsian, and I was worried, so I'm on my way to Damsian. However, the underground lake up ahead. There's an underground lake up ahead, and a giant monster there is giving me like real trouble. Is what kind of all that means. Teikozu. Yeah, it's such a mess the way he's talking that it doesn't work with my auto dictionary thing here. All right. In Super NES, all of this became I'm going to Damsian to get my daughter who eloped. So the idea of eloped is not even in this at all, and the word elope I don't think shows up. It might at some point in the script in Japanese, but I don't think it does here. So someone kind of is filling in the blanks for us. One of the translators is filling in the blanks for us just for our sake. But a huge monster is blocking the way. So there's a part about the underground lake is up ahead. So the detail is a little missing. Okay, J2E says, I was heading to Damsian because I was worried, is what is the idea. Yeah, so he's also worried, saying he's worried. So that was missing from the SNES. I've already taken off a point, so I won't do it again. But the worried is missing from the J2E here. I'll take off a point on that. It's a motive, so a motive is very important for all characterization. It's heading to Damsian, but there's a powerful monster up in the lake. Okay, it's an underground lake, technically. What's changed here? Anything new? Oh, I showed them that one.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, technically, underground, I would have liked. There's no underground lake in there, so I took off for no underground lake. I'm gonna do it for J2E also. Just to kind of be fair, I think. Alright, so naming way goes, I need to rescue my daughter, but a gigantic monster blocks the way. Okay, I already took a point off for J2E. But it didn't say that it's a giant, like Kyodai. Kyodai, no. It's giant, enormous. That's another detail that was missed, but I already took off a point, so it's okay. That's equally missing in J2E and SNES.
No, it's there, a huge monster.
There's a huge monster? Oh yeah, in the SNES it's there, huge monster. It's in J2E, it's different.
Yeah.
Underground, and there's missing nuances. Alright, and then in naming way, I need to rescue my daughter, but a gigantic monster blocks the way. So gigantic is there. Blocking the way is it's less than block. It's more like I'm having trouble with it. It feels like he has tried to deal with it before, but he's unable to. So that's why he's asking for our help now. Like, he's already tried. So blocks the way just means like, oh, it's in the way. Maybe he hasn't like dealt with it yet.
That next line might fill that in though.
Yeah, my magic alone can't defeat it. Well, we'll see in a second. Underground lake up ahead is missing in this detail, and naming way I'm gonna take off the point. Okay, back to Japanese. Totetsu mo nai chikara wa motta yatsu ja. He has like incredible power. It's one with incredible power. Totetsu mo nai chikara becomes Totetsu mo nai. How does this translate out? Extravagant, absurd, unbelievable, preposterous, unreasonable. So it has absurd power. So that's where the powerful monster, I guess, gets there. Yeah, so I guess the huge just fell out of the J2E. Yeah, the point of it being really powerful has been removed. Like, that sentence is missing in naming way. Like, just this one sentence. Where he's starting to describe it. Yeah, this line is long, so let's just continue. I don't want to get...
Yeah, I've lost track of the points at this point.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, that line is missing. I'm just going to take that off. Right, so watashi no maho dake de wa taosen. He's using, like, slightly a variation of grammar here.
He uses watashi, I would assume.
Yeah, watashi. Washi?
Yeah.
Washi?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's still got...
Genki.
He still feels young, maybe.
Yeah.
Watashi no maho dake de wa taosen. I cannot defeat it with my magic alone. My magic is not strong enough to defeat it, says SNES. I cannot defeat him with my magic alone, comma, says J2E. And my magic alone can't defeat it in naming way. So those are okay. So you can see he's full of exclamations. Tellah has been full of exclamations this whole time.
He's very pumped up.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're gonna get this done. So I'm not gonna look for exclamations in this huge line, but you can look for them for yourself and see if any of that characterization might have been just slightly wiped away. Right, so his next exclamation sentence, which is its own separate sentence, is Onushi no kokuken to naraba. This is a kind of an incomplete sentence, but it's saying there's a contrasting, so there's a unsaid but in here. But with your dark sword, ... exclamation is how you could maybe do that in English. But with your dark sword, and like I said, the translators will often like fill in the blanks of incomplete sentences. Your dark sword might help, period. It became Supernius. So his intensity is gone in the Supernius. In the the contrastingness of that naraba seems to be missing in the SNES, but that's such a minor thing. Okay, in J2E, I cannot defeat him with my magic alone, comma, but with your dark sword, ... I might be able to defeat him. They added this part, I might be able to defeat him. That's not in the original. But I mean, it's the implication. It's part of the unsaid. Looks like they... No, I guess nothing happened there. Okay, so naming away the equivalent is ... but your sword might help, period. Like, you can see the intensity difference. There's the button here that I like, so that's good. If there had just been an exclamation here, it would have been a lot closer. I won't mess with that. Okay. So now, Tellah's still talking, but now he has exclamation question mark, nanto, exclamation. That means my word or something like that. Like you're taken aback, you're like surprised, impressed maybe.
What the?
Like, yes.
Ninja Gaiden.
And, okay, so Super NES, this became and ... This girl is a caller, exclamation question. Okay, I can see how that would work.
Mm-hmm.
And then that became, oh, this girl's a summoner, isn't she? Oh wait, we didn't get to that part yet. It just became nanto, became oh. Oh kind of loses a little bit, like my word would have been good. But I'll just leave it. And his surprise is completely missing. All of this surprise about her is missing here in naming way.
There's 2 lines of surprise though.
Yeah.
There.
Alright. We got その子は召喚士か。かなりの資質を持っておる. So he's saying, this is 2 sentences. That girl, I see she's a summoner. She possesses quite a bit of qualities. Well, how would we call that? Shishitsu motteiru. How would we translate that? Sometimes it helps to like see how other people have done it, especially when your brain is on full blast. All right. She has the one that's proper here is nature and disposition. Like she's got the stuff for it. Is basically how.
Well, you can use this to explain how a kana only, thing can get really messed up.
Okay, so we're hovering over this Japanese word called shishitsu, and the thing about Japanese language is if you don't use kanji like this game does, you're gonna end up with a lot of homonyms, I guess we could call them, just words that sound the same or look the same or spelled the same, but very different meanings. We have a bunch of that in English too. But shishitsu could mean quality of teeth. It could mean a private room. It could mean paper quality. It can mean lipid, fats, adipose. It can mean nature and disposition. As a translator, or like once you've had enough experience with these things, you don't really have to think about it too much. But this kind of stuff is why when we did the Google translation of Final Fantasy IV about 10 years ago, it would just get things really crazy. It didn't have the kanji to hang on to. Yeah. And so it just kind of had to choose randomly what was going on. And it probably had never seen Final Fantasy before Google. It was like, what is this? So Sid is just Mr. Eagle. All right, so she possesses some quite impressive qualities is kind of the idea that's happening in here. And then said in an old style way. All right, and so Super NES, she is quite gifted, I sense. And that's good, I like that. And this girl's a caller. She is quite gifted, I sense. This became quite gifted, I sense, in J2E. She's quite gifted, I sense, in naming way. Everyone is using that same phrase. Alright, so those are all, just keep those. Okay, now Cecil now responds, Damshio ne wa bokura mo ikanakute wa naranai desu. He's still staying polite, like proper polite, like you just would in modern Japanese. So we too must also go to Damsion! Exclamation. Right. And Cecil and Super Nia says, we are also on our way to Damsian period. He's also, but in Japanese, he's like also intense about it. Like, oh, we're going there too. So J2E has an extra line in here. The three of us might stand a chance, ... So I'm gonna take that away.
You added.
Yeah, it was an addition, so we gotta remove that. Was that always there? Looks like it was always there since their earliest patches. Alright, so in the naming way, he also says we're also on our way to Damsian period. I would have liked the exclamation, but I won't stick with that. Yeah, so J2E has the we also have to go to Damsian exclamation. It's got the tone right.
It's strange how the punctuation can change someone's character so much.
Like it's a real struggle. Like when I would do my subtitle translations for people, you know, for companies, I would do the subtitles for DVDs, but at the same time, my translations were also being used as the basis for like the dub. Like dub editors would come in and change things around, and I carefully crafted everything. Like you see me going through all this and all this little care here. I kind of do it at the super fast and all in my head though, like the speed of thought, I guess you could say it. And then in the dubs, they don't see any of that, and they kind of wreck it all. There's a lot of when you don't see something as full of care. That sort of thing will happen.
Yeah.
As a translator, it's often like, well, first of all, it's like probably the norm to just not be credited in things. Even today, professional game translation, like the game credits will have like dogs and babies in there, but the translators won't get credited, or maybe sometimes it's like the company will be credited, but the individuals won't. Then the thing is that for a lot of translators, because we are international usually, credits are kind of like important for your documentation for passports and things like that. So being in the credits is actually really important. So lately I've been seeing a movement for people to try to get credits properly translated. Translators
properly credited.
I'm dying, yeah.
Water.
After this big block, I'm going to take a break.
Okay.
Alright, so that was my weird talk about stuff. Alright, and so Tellah now says in Japanese, Naraba kimari ja, ikoku mo hayaku damshiane. And those are two sentences with exclamation. So he's been shouting. This old man's voice is shouting and echoing through these caves.
And it travels with all this water.
So in Japanese, he's saying, in that case, it's settled, it's decided. To Damsian, maybe post-haste, some people might say. It's easy to drop post-haste right there, but like just time is of the essence, we gotta go fast. How does this thing translate? Ikoku mo hayaku. Ikoku mo hayaku. So we gotta go this very instant. It's kind of the vibe. Then remember this first part says, then it's decided. And then in Super NES, this became good! Exclamation. Let us work together to get to Damsian period. Let's hurry! Exclamation.
I take good as meaning then it's decided.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Alright, so actually this part about let us work together to get to Damsian isn't in the original. It's what he's saying, and I think they put that in there so that like the readers, the old day kid readers like me would understand. I'm gonna take it off just because it's not necessarily in there. Maybe it was in there in the old script and then like the pre-final script or something, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so in J2E, Tellah says, then it's decided! Exclamation. Let's go to Damsian. The idea is that we gotta go in a rush, and that's missing from J2E, so we gotta it's like time of the essence kind of urgency here. Not let's just go. Alright, so in the naming way, all of that became excellent! Exclamation. Let us work together to get there, period. And so that's missing some stuff there. Alright, we did it.
Ooh. What?
Right. Kinja Tellah ga nakama ni natta. So the sage Tellah became a party member. Nakama ni naru is to become like a member of the group. We would say join party. That's our standard words. Okay, so I'm going to move him because he's this old man. I always send him back here. Is this a bad idea to send him back here? I only use him for magic, really, anyway. What's he got? He's got Hitsue. We already looked at Sue and Kawa no Fuku. Magic, though. I'm interested in his magic. Let's look at his magic real quick. We've already talked about Keiaru and Keiaru-da and all that. The confusion spell is known as Konfu in Japanese. It's just short. It comes off from the word confusion, probably. They could have just said confuse. That would have been kind of nice. But for whatever reason, for various reasons, I guess, we really like to just use the straight-up English words for all of these. Super NES, that became charm, but the others is confuse. J2E, it used to be conf, which was actually a little bit closer, like I was just saying. Blink, the blink spell became blink everywhere, but it was something else before. Oh, okay. Asuna is an interesting word, and I always forget the details of this, so maybe people in the chat can remind me and I'll talk about it later. But I think it's like something about like a bad status healing, like something status naoru or something. So it's short for something, and it means just like heals bad statuses. That's what Esuna means. I don't know why there's an Esuna in 7th Saga though. It became heal in Super NES, Esuna. Reizu is like raise. Like, let me see that in naming way. This is just a life and life 1 spell in other versions. It used to be the raise. It used to be called raise in the old J2E, and then they changed it to life. I don't know why they would do that. You would want to be closer to that, right? And then in the easy type, it went from Reizu to Reizu Ichi, raise 1, because there's a 2nd level spell later. And the teleport spell to get out of places is Terepo in Japanese. Like just telepo without the RT. That became the exit spell in Super NES and naming way. And it used to be telep in the old J2E. I've already talked about like the weirdness of menu text, so I won't go too far into that. Then we'll go to the black magic real quick. Okay, we got the fire spell, it's fire. I think this is how we spell it, right? What is this in Japanese? Yeah, it works, fire. So it's basically as the word English word fire. You can write fire a couple ways. And it became Fire Ichi instead of doing the Fire stuff in easy type. So Fire became Fire 1 in Super NES, Fire in J2E, and Fire in naming way. The Blizzard and Thunder, we talked about stop. That is just the English word stop. So it's okay that it's stop everywhere. And then there's another spell that sucks away MP from enemies called Aspidu. And I can't remember what that comes from. Let me know if someone knows. I could look it up later, I guess. And this MP sucking spell is called Psych in Super NES. It's called Osmos in J2E, and Osmos in naming way. I think Osmos first appeared in Final Fantasy VI's official Super NES translation. Yeah, they went backwards on J2E. It was Aspir to begin with, then later became Osmos. Asmos. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna take a very quick break. Then I'll come back and maybe I'll speak better and my reading will be improved. I'm sorry that we're not on a good fun screen here. I know what I can do here. Oops. Let me go here. Alright, so right now I'm going to take a break. Be back in like a couple minutes. All right. Hello again, everybody. I just realized that I've been having the audio for the game come out of my speaker without headphones, so I hope that didn't interfere with any of the audio. Usually I have headphones in these days so it won't get picked up by the microphone. But it was actually kind of nice to be able to hear the music properly, so I still have it a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that out. Sorry. All right, so let's go. Make this bigger. All right, so we're back. We got Tellah. We looked at his equipment. All right, let's continue. We're gonna get some secret items here. All right, so we have in this chest is the Bomono Kakera, and that's like the bomb piece. Yeah, you got bomb here, and Kakera is a piece or a fragment. Like Kakera is like a broken piece usually. So that didn't exist in the Super NES version. So instead, in the game's data, it just calls it dummy now. All right, in J2E, this became fragment. It's just called a fragment. You don't know that it's a bomb fragment by itself. And then in the naming way, they call it a bomb frag, so that you'll know. All right, so this is one of those battle items that kind of does a magic spell for free, but it's one-time use. Let's see. So some of these will have item descriptions. So and it looks like there's an easy type change for this bomb item name. It became, it's also dummy because I guess it was taken out of easy type. All right, so here's something that I'm interested in. As you can see, as I hover over this bomb fragment item in the Japanese game, you can see that there's no descriptions. But J2E and the naming way versions, they have extra hacking put into them. And so they decided to add descriptions to some of the items, and sometimes it's all of the items. So that's why there's no descriptions for Super Famicom also, but there are for those fan translations. And this is one of the things where like fan translations or like script improvement patches, they will often include like extra enhancements that don't reflect the original game. I don't know if some people like that, some people don't. If you just wanted if you wanted to play it just the way it was in Japanese back in the day, then you probably wouldn't want those extra improvements and stuff. But most people probably aren't playing that way. If you're playing this old game in this old version, you probably have a reason to. Alright, but the reason I bring this up is because by introducing these descriptions that don't exist originally, you open yourself up to mistakes. And as we can see here, the description for the J2E bomb fragment is fire attack to one target. The same item is described in naming way as hit all enemies with fire. So what's the deal? Is this hitting one enemy or is it hitting all? We're gonna go find out. And it looks like the description was added into the current modern patch of J2E. Alright, so we're gonna go to battle and check that out. And whoever is wrong is going to lose a point for being wrong. It's kind of like, I guess like if you're being interrogated by someone, you don't want to say more than is necessary. Otherwise you can mess yourself up. That's kind of what's going on here. You can mess yourself up if you just start adding things. Okay, so Cecil, who has no magic ability, is going to use this Japanese only item. Like these Japanese only items were the biggest deal. And that's why J2E and other fans were rushing to translate this game properly. There's all these items that are missing from the version that we got. So here we are. This is the big deal. Oh, as we're looking at this, it looks like okay, we're fighting some fish enemies and some like weird shell looking enemies. The fish enemy in Japanese is called Furai Kira, which is fly killer. I guess it could be fry killer. I'm not really sure. That became pike, fly killer, and killer fish in the different versions there. But fly killer in the Japanese became teppo uo, like gun fish. Teppo is like a gun, a wooden pole. That's a word for a fugu? Teppo, that's interesting. I never knew that. And uo is a type of, just like another word for fish. So that's called like a gunfish or something like that. I don't know why it's called fly killer though. Is it because they fly? Or is it like flying killer? Okay, here we go. We're gonna moment of truth. Oh wait, this has already happened. So as I selected the bomb fragment item to use on enemies, it's now selecting all enemies. So whoever said it's one enemy is going to be wrong. And I think that was J2E. Come on, why is it organ? Okay, it didn't take them all out. Oh, I should point out that Tellah in the Japanese version has a technique here that was removed from the American version. It's called omoidasu, which means to remember. And this will let you remember like a bunch of random spells, including ones that are really powerful and that you shouldn't have yet. So it's kind of like a roulette wheel for magic. Kind of gives you a peek of like what crazy awesome magic there's gonna be. It reminds me of a scene in the fairy tale anime series, or I guess manga also, where one of the characters gets to see the kind of magic they can do in the future, and that helps them learn how to get better faster in the present. We got Chocobo kicked, we killed that guy. Okay, Rydia has leveled up, and she learned hold. It's the English word hold, and it's called hold everywhere else too. But what is it called in the Famicom? Oh yeah, that's right, I've listened to my own stuff. Diet food. By defeating some fish or something, we got an item called diet food, and this is another one of those healing items, status carrying items that was condensed down into a single item for easy type and super NES. So let's get this diet food and look at it real quick. I didn't think we're gonna have to look through all these items so fast. Let's stick it down here. So diet food. The description in Japanese says "buta o kaifuku shimasu." It like restores pig. Like the way it's phrased, if you didn't know this was a video game, that was going to sound pretty funny. Like it doesn't say status, but it implies that it's the pig status. Alright, so that's probably just going to be dummied out. But the description text, so in the easy type, this item is removed, and in the data it just calls it dummy. However, the description text is also still in the easy type data. Okay, Super NES, this item doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. Diet food cures piggy status, says J2E. Cures pig, it used to say. And then it says cures pig in anyway. Alright. You don't get those too often, so it is kind of a weird thing to have so many different items. Okay, so we're fighting some more fish guys here. Let's do an omoidasu. I want to see what crazy stuff shows up. And then we can still just do the rod with her. If we want. Or actually, Thunder is really good now. So now that we have Thunder and we're in the waterway, this is when the weaknesses really start to first show themselves in this game. Oh, he used Break. That became Stone Super NES. So Break is a higher level spell we won't learn for about 3 weeks. And it just instantly kills enemies. And it killed all those enemies. So good job, Tellah. You remembered, but then I guess you forgot again. She's still getting the level. Yeah, I thought the naming way was also supposed to be like the definitive one, but since I hadn't really played through it myself, I kind of just listened to everyone else and took a quick peek at things. But as we're going, we're seeing that naming way has a lot of issues with things being cut, just because it's based on the FF2 ROM. So the Super NES and the naming way, most of their points are lost because the stuff had to be cut out. If we took out that stuff and looked at the actual quality of the translation, I think J2E probably still will come ahead. But the Super NES would be closer. Nothing going on there? Okay, we're okay. Going over here. And again, I want to emphasize that my scoring system, as you've seen, is very like arbitrary in some cases. It can go either way sometimes. So I don't want people to take these numbers too definitively. I would just like people to understand that this is a fun thing. and we're kind of getting, like, think of this as recon. People in the future will go into further detail of this stuff maybe. And like I said, if you would like to play along, like play the DS version as I'm playing this, or the PSP or the remaster, Pixel remaster, please do so, and let me know in the chat how things might have changed. Also let me know in the YouTube comments. Having people play along and kind of like be, I don't know, it kind of feels like I'm in formation with a bunch of other birds or something, and we're all on the same migration together. That's how that feels. If you play along, it'd be fun. Okay, we have a Tetsu no Udewa, which is like an iron. Oh, we already talked about the iron bracelet thing, so we won't go through that. Well, she has one. I don't think he can't equip one right now, and so he can use it. So his stats are going to change when I put this on. That's pretty nice. Oh wait, there's nothing there. There's so many versions of the game, and it would be nice to stream them someday, like for me to actually become familiar with them. So this part here, I didn't understand. I didn't realize that there was a secret here for my first few playthroughs of the game. So the room we're about to go in was a real neat surprise for me. Okay, so Fang Shell is what these guys are called. Oh.
There we go.
Alright, so these shell enemies that we saw earlier are called Fangusheru. Fangusheru. Basically, Fang and Shell, the two English words together. And because it's two English words together, they changed it for easy type to Hamaguri Akuma. Is that like clam demon or something like that? Common Orient clam is how Hamaguri is. So the Common Orient clam demon is how that came out in easy type. I mean, they don't think of it as Common Orient over there, but Hamaguri is just the word they use over there. All right, so in Super NES, this became Evil Shell with one L. This became Fang Shell and J2E, and Vile Shell in naming way. There is like this weird fang-looking thing sticking out. Oh wait, oh no, I think I understand what I'm finally looking at on these. Is that a tongue kind of thing?
That's just a tongue.
Okay, I thought it was like this weird like hook coming out, and it was gonna hook us. But now that I'm an ancient old man, I can finally see the sprite art as it was meant to be.
You know what clams are made of these days, I guess.
Demons?
Demons, yes. Did you want to?
No.
Okay.
People, or at least I think someone said that they didn't notice. Okay. All right, while we're here, let's look at this enemy. Oh yeah, this one is weird. All right, so there's this weird like amoeba cellular looking enemy. I don't know what to call it, and it sort of will try to heal other enemies over time. In Japanese, it's called shipotsu, and all I can think of is that it's like sea and pot. So let's see if it even shows up. C, yeah, it shows a C there, and potsu. No, I don't know. So I don't even know what this enemy is supposed to be called, and that's a big problem with enemy names and spell names. Sometimes there is no like definition for things, and it was just some guy making things up, or it felt like it was this word, so they went with that. And without asking the creator, you're never gonna, find out. So if you are like a game developer, you need to work with your translator.
Yes.
Do it. As my whole Undertale book is about that. It was kind of like a documentary. My Undertale book. Okay. This became Waterbug in the Super NES. C-Pot and J2E, because they didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
And it became Waterbug again in naming way. What should it be called? No one knows. Go find Shigeru Miyamoto. I think he'll have the answer.
Sure.
All right, let's do a thunder spell here.
I can't even. It just looks like a bunch of jellyfish stuck together.
Yeah. So when we see him in 3D and stuff, we start to get new details maybe. So maybe those versions will be good. Yeah, he keeps trying to bring them back to life, but it never works or something. I never quite understood what this guy does.
Because they're already dead? No, wait.
This guy might escape sometimes, right? Does he escape sometimes? We defeated the water bugs. Okay, now we're going to go into this waterfall. And this is the first time maybe in my life where you go into a waterfall in a game. So this might be mine. Let me know what your first waterfalls in the game are. Like the first time you go behind a waterfall.
What about Zelda 1?
Zelda 1? Oh, that's right. Okay, so this was probably the second. But that one tells you, like, go behind the waterfall, literally. But this is like the first secret one. Like, I should be checking. And so when I discovered this secret that we're about to go into, I was like, I gotta find every waterfall in this game.
I know. I always walk into waterfalls in every game.
Alright, so this is called Kakushibeya, which is like hidden room. Kakushibeya, hidden room, secret chamber. Secret chamber. That's a thing I was noticing. Like, although when I'm reading the Japanese stuff, a lot of the times I'm clunky. Sometimes I'm smooth with it. But I do that with English too, I've noticed, when I was listening to the streams. And I think it's something underlying that I'll have to get past first. The jitters, maybe. Kakushibeya, hidden room. And in Super NES, that just became question mark. And then in the naming way, that just became question mark.
The question mark is like cool.
I like it, but
it is.
If you would get marked off on the translation course.
You would.
I talk about translation courses a lot. And like I don't even know if there are such translation courses because I don't go to university or stuff anymore. But when you take like translation tests to join agencies or join companies, this is exactly the kind of stuff they're looking for. They're looking for like the little things that get you. And they'll throw lots of little tricks at you that you won't even know are there. Just to see like how you do in the tough situations or the weird situations. And here we have what's called an eteru dorai. And it's ether dry. Ether, like, the stuff that makes you go sleepy, I guess. I don't know, it knocks you out. The medicine stuff. And then dry. I don't know why this dry word comes after it a lot. And ether dry is very common in Final Fantasy games. Okay, so that became Ether 2. So yeah, the dry is an indicator that it's like the next level up. So Ether 2 is how that became in Super NES. And Dry Ether and J2E, Dry Ether and naming right. We'll look at that in a second. Now, we're looking at another chest in the secret room. And it's called the X Potion. It's X Potion. Is it like X is for extra, maybe? I never really understood, but we kind of just all assumed X is cool. We'll just stick with X.
Extreme!
Yeah, extreme potion. It is like, I think it heals everything. It depends on the game you're playing, but a lot of times it's just like a full heal, HP heal.
It's making people think of dry drinks. Like
yeah, that's the feeling I got too. Gear 3 is what that's called in Super NES. X Potion and J2E, and X Potion and Nameway. When I see X dash like that now, I think of X Play.
Skank Pit?
Skank Pit, hey.
Oh.
Welcome to the reunion. Alright, so that's X Potion. And I think this is just money over here. Oh, like I mentioned, all these chests are kind of different in different versions of the game. Okay, this is the Phoenix Down. And we already talked about that. So now let's look at the items. The Ether Dry in the original Japanese became... Oh, it's just the same in Easy Type, but they just edited the description slightly. They took out a space. Ether Dry became Ether 2, Dry Ether, Dry Ether. Yeah, they changed Ether Dry to Dry Ether, and that's another thing that, like, especially fan translations, they might want to, because they focus so heavily on names. Grammar is hard, so names, and you'll find that fan translators focus like crazy on names. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But back in the old days, it was good because they would do a lot of research. They would like look into research and stuff, and especially when like Wikipedia wasn't really a thing. But because they're so focused on names, the idea of like moving a part of the name, like that word dry, moving it, would probably seem to kids on the internet at that time as like heresy. How dare you change that? Just leave it the same. So Ether Dry was how this was originally in the old J2E. At some point, they were like, okay, we're cool, Dry Ether. Move that down.
It was a good change.
You can see how I do my weird organization here. I don't really use ever the sort thing that they got. I like to leave this spot open so when I get new items, it'll drop in right there and I can just go to it. I'll put this X Potion here. And I usually use the right side for like equipment or special things. This is just like my style.
It's a peek into your brain.
Oh wait, let's go to that X potion now. Alright, X potion. In Japanese, it just so all of these potions in Japanese, they just say restores HP. It doesn't say like the amount. It's just assumed that you'll know. But you can see in the naming way, because if they decided to add new things, small amount, moderate amount, and the X potion gives you large amount. But none of the others have that. I'm not going to mark anything off, but it's just like I wanted to point out that
it helps with gameplay.
Yeah, it's right. So we got all that. What time is it? Oh, we're doing pretty good on time.
Someone said it, but if we did research names, then we wouldn't have Ultros.
I mean, that was what's his head? That was Woolsey. Yeah, but I mean, Ultros is like a weird Greek word, and like, without Wikipedia, that stuff was hard to research back in the day. That's another thing. The internet has made translation so much different from what it was back in 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
Yeah, like, I remember Marcus Lindblom talking about he would actually physically travel to Japan to, like, work with the translator, like, a few weeks at a time, and I was like, whoa.
That's the way to do it. Is if you're a game developer, you gotta work with the translator. You don't just throw them a pile of documents. Don't do that. If you're a dev or anything, like even if you're not a dev, you gotta work with the translator.
Yeah, or else who knows what's gonna happen to your game. If you care about your game, work with them.
All right, so we learned the sleep spell. I talked about this the other day.
We've covered the trash can at the bottom, right?
Oh, let's look at that stuff. I already forgot about all that stuff. Alright. So it's just seitone in Japanese. It's like putting stuff into order. Orderliness, put in order. Tidying up, arranging neatly. That became sort in all the others. It looks weird in the J2E just because I think there's a description maybe for this one too. It says sort if we were playing the J2E version.
I see.
And then the trash can, I don't think the trash can will say anything. Oh. Weird. Okay. So Gomi Bako is trash can. Trash can, trash. How did that turn out? Okay.
I learned that from Sakura Meets last night.
Oh, Gomi Bako?
Yeah, remember?
No.
The story where she was carrying a trash can and tissues or something?
Alright, so what I want to do now is actually I would like to go leave. For the sake of the stream, I'm not going to go leave and then come all the way back through here. It would be a lot of time. Okay, so now we are in a new, I guess, lower area of this underground waterway. It's the Chikanikai, the underground second floor. And the SNES that became B2F. The J2E became basement floor 2. Basement? The basement of a waterway is here. I'm going to take a point off, and that's kind of silly.
Yeah. Because B2F is like what you would see in an elevator.
Yeah, but calling it the basement.
Yeah.
So actually, it's just like underground. Chika is literally chi is ground and ka is under, and you can translate it sometimes as basement, but it's not appropriate here. So actually, floors are another important thing to talk about in translation. Different countries and even different places within the same country will label floors differently. Some countries, like the first floor, is actually what we would call the upstairs, like the second floor. And then you're on the ground floor. That's what we would call the first floor. It's different. And sometimes I've encountered it in different ways in translation. I think in Japan they even sometimes will not be consistent with it. But it's an important thing to remember because that's a gameplay mechanic, possibly, and you don't want to give people the wrong impression. It probably matters more if you're doing it in like European countries. There's probably all kinds of variations there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. B2F is pretty good. I would probably just stick with that. See, like that over here, there's a waterfall. I remember trying to go see if there's something in there now. Like even being able to walk in the water and like sticking out of the water, that's another aspect of the original canvas I was talking about earlier. Yeah, like all of these things that really wowed me when this came out. When I first played it, and it came out in 91, but I played it in 92. It wowed me so much because it was doing new things that I had never seen.
This was 91?
But now that we have like pixel remastered and like 3D version and stuff, that original canvas's wow factor is lost. It's partially through time, but also just through the act of remaking. Like you can go to the gift store of a museum and get a reprint or a replication of something. It's kind of how all the remakes kind of feel to me. It's good, but it feels like it's a souvenir more than the original canvas is.
That's a really good way to put it.
Most people, the original canvas might not matter. Like, I don't need to go see the Mona Lisa or anything. I'm okay to see.
It just depends on what you
Yeah, it depends on the person. You'll find that in translation and probably a lot of things in life. Everything comes down to a case-by-case basis. It's like one of the universal rules of translation. While at the same time, you want to put a lot of effort into consistency. So they're kind of two things at once that are kind of counter sometimes. Did I already get it? Yeah, see, like walking through this water is crazy. Like you can actually walk in water in this game. Usually in games, either water will kill you or you just can't walk on it. And then you peek out over it. It's like, whoa. Okay, we got a potion. We came all this way for a potion. Alright, I'm going to use that potion. Who needs it? Cecil needs it. He's been like wasting his health. Killing fish.
Oh, that big attack.
Yeah. Back in the day in the 90s, the idea of speedrunning hadn't really occurred to me, but through things like Mario Kart, like I mentioned a long time ago, the idea was always kind of there, like, oh, how fast can you finish this game? It was Mario Kart and then Super Metroid, obviously. But I also that pushed me to try to beat this Final Fantasy II for Super NES as fast as I could. I remember getting to like maybe 10 hours or 11 hours. One of the tricks that I found was just don't run.
Oh, because that makes the enemies show up more?
It just makes you stronger when you get later on.
Oh, don't run from battle.
Yeah, don't run from battle.
Got it.
I mean, today there's so many tricks with this game. You can actually do so many crazy. You can like probably. There's all kinds of things that you can do in this game, and it's crazy. You can corrupt memory in interesting ways, and then you basically gain control of the game. Like the game's not playing anymore, you're in control, and cool things can happen. Maybe I'll try one of those. It's the one of the best ones is the 64 room glitch or something like 64 floor glitch. I remember translating that for people way back in the day. How to work that out, because it was a big deal in Japan at the time. Yeah, let's do some of these potions. Rydia is... I'm a little worried for her, but I don't want to waste a potion yet. I got ether.
Rydia has healing spells?
Yeah, but I don't... Oh wait, he has... So because he's a Dark Knight, any attack he does with his Dark Swords will have like 1 HP damage on any undead.
I see.
Yeah, I should have gone to heal. So we're gonna do a fire spell. We have Tellah now, so we can handle these guys a little better. Every once in a while, maybe. Actually, let me try this. Let me take this off. Oh, I can start to do my trick with it. Let's try punching these zombies instead of hitting them with a sword and see how that goes. Oh, he does this quite a bit better.
Ooh.
So just punch zombies, you guys.
Yeah.
Don't shoot them in the head.
The fire worked good against them because they're dry. They're like kindling. I'll try it out.
Okay, we killed all the zombies. There's a lot of weird things down in here. I'd be worried to be drinking any water from this zombie.
Ew. Yeah.
Okay, well, now we're going into the next section of the game. We're about to start another big scene. Let me get some water.
Everybody get your popcorn.
Alright. Alright, Alright, we're gonna walk in here. Uh-oh, a cat just walked in here. Alright, before we actually take this step, what you see here on the screen, we're now in a new room, and it's surrounded by like some weird pillar-y looking things. See, I can't speak. Blah, blah, blah. With like a weird campfire looking thing in the middle. This might not be a campfire.
Looks like they're about to summon a demon.
Yeah, but anyway, so this is what save spots look like in this game. And it's kind of unclear, but we'll learn in a second that these are what are called in Japanese mahojin, or magic circles. And if you ever like have seen Japanese entertainment where they do spells and you see like a magic circle looking thing for a second as they do the spell, or like when you might like draw a pentagram on the ground and do, you know, like what is the thing that girls do, like feathers?
Feathers.
Yeah. It's kind of like that kind of thing where it's like a pentagram-y looking thing, or just like kind of a magic circle looking thing. And so everything within those pillars is like a magic field, I guess you could say. It was less clear to me. This was less clear to me back in the day because of the way they kind of will end up passing through it. They just call it a field at some point. But if you see these things, think of those like magic circles, and being inside these circles make it so the enemies won't attack. That always made me wonder if maybe we could still get attacked in this room, the save room. I'm pretty sure we can't, but that's kind of what the idea they're going for. They're not just like weird spots to sit on, their magical circles that will keep enemies away. Kind of like what happened in Final Fantasy VI with the Espers. They set up a magical field exactly like this to keep their enemies away, and that was the humans. And then until eventually like it weakened and that one lady showed up. Alright, so Tellah now is saying, Yosh, koko de yasunde yuko. And he's saying kind of in an older way here. Good, or like, okay, let's rest here and then go. Alright, so the second part is and go and proceed. So let's rest and then proceed. And this became a Super NES. Let's take rest here. You would probably get marked off on here for not covering the yuko.
All of them do that.
I'm just going to take off point all of them, since it'll be equal that way. It's not a major deal. Alright. Oh, there's a neat, funny mistake there. Alright, so Tellah says, alright, let's rest here. And then Naming Way says, Tellah, let's rest here. He's not very emphatic in Japanese, but in the J2E, it looks like they attributed this to Cecil originally, this line. I don't know why that would have been the case. Maybe it was just a typo. Yeah.
I can imagine like working in a spreadsheet. Yeah. You're like,
When you put one of these names in games, you don't actually like type Tellah into the spreadsheet. It would be more like name. It would be like a name tag, like name 1, name 2. Oh. So they might have just put like name 0 instead of name 1 or something on accident. Right. Okay, Tellah is now standing in the middle of the circle looking at us. Looks like we have an easy type change here and a J2E change. We'll look at those in a second. Alright, Tellah says, Kono mahoji no ue naraba kekkai ga hararete te bamono ga haite koren no ja. He's talking a little older style here. He's saying, if we're atop this magic circle, a magic field will is deployed, and monsters won't be able to come in. And then that became in, first what's this? Oh, okay, so it looks like the easy type just has an extra added space somewhere, and we never would have known that for about 50 years.
Or ever.
Yeah. All right, so Tellah in the Super NES says, a special field here will protect us from monsters. So it's, like I said, it's a magic circle, and it just became special field. That's fine. Then this became in J2E. If we rest on top of this magic rune, a force field will surround us that monsters can't enter. That's pretty close to what's going on in the original there.
Okay.
They call it a magical rune. That's fine though. Okay, so in the Naming Way, this field wards off monsters. So it kind of like scrunched everything into that one. It just calls it a field. For world building, knowing that this is a magic circle, and Tellah, this great master, is teaching us about this magic stuff. So it's kind of cool. But here he's kind of like offhandish about it. I would have liked more in this. I would have liked more in the naming way. I won't take off on that though. Yeah, like there's no magicalness technically in the naming way, but the fact that this is wards in field is hard to understand what it means. All right, so the next line is going to break the window. So let me scroll this. テントやコテージで休んだりセーブしたりもできる. So you can use with tents and cottages, you can rest in stuff and save in stuff.
And stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So he's kind of like saying we can do a lot of things, not just those things in Japanese. In SNES, we can use our tent or cabin and even save. And save is in caps here for some reason. And the way it's phrased makes it sound like we only have one tent and maybe one cabin at the moment, which is kind of weird. Well, yeah, cabins are called cottages in Japanese. They're the stronger, like full party healing items that you can use. They're called cottages. So they're carrying cottages around on their backs and cabins. 99 of them.
I drew that picture.
Oh, yeah. We'll pull that out sometime.
I don't know where it's at.
And then J2E. This became, we can rest here in a tent or cottage and save our game. This, in naming way, this became, you can use tents and cottages and even save. So there's some minor things in there, but it's not a big deal. He's actually just being more of a gameplay instruction tutorial here. So I don't really mind too much about that stuff. Okay, let's get this ready. All right. So this final line in this part is Tellah still saying, Yatsu to no tatakai ni sonae, watashi no tento de taisei o tatenausu to shio. And that's saying, let's, in preparation for the battle with it or him, let's regroup ourselves with my tent or something like that. Taisei o tatenausu is kind of hard. I mean, it's not hard, it's just it could go a lot of ways. That became, let's rest now and be prepared for the coming battle in my tent. Oh no, that's a bad phrasing. That's a bad phrasing. It makes it sound possible that the battle is going to be inside of his tent.
Yeah, they're about to fight in there.
So if they had just put in my tent, if they had moved that to from the end to after the word now, let's rest now in my tent and be prepared for the coming battle, that would have been an improvement. All right, so and the J2E here says, in preparation for tomorrow's battle, let's rest in my tent and heal our wounds. There's a problem here, is that the word tomorrow is not in the original. For all we know, they could just be resting for like an hour. So take that out. Okay. Oh, it looks like the tomorrow was added, maybe by non-translation editor on J2E. They took out the part. Okay, and originally it said, in preparation for fighting the monster, let's rest in my tent. That became, that got edited later to say, let's rest in my tent and heal our wounds in preparation for tomorrow's battle. So that got changed for the worst, I would say, for the worst. It's not terrible, obviously. And then, in any way, let's use my tent to rest for the coming battle. They keep talking about, so he talks about Yatsu. Yatsu is like it or him. It can mean a lot of things. It, him, her, fellow guy, chap, thing, object. It's not polite though. So we're dealing with a guy, and the guy that we're dealing with seems to be the big monster. That's what he's building up for. Like, we got to beat this big monster. Let's get some rest. The fact that it's not restated or whatever, that we're going to be fighting it. Okay, so now we got another cutscene. It's kind of zoomed in, and Cecil and Tellah and Rydia are sitting around the fire, but Rydia's sleeping. All right, so Tellah now is starting to talk. もう眠ってしまったか。よほど疲れておったんじゃろう。この子は確かだ。This is all saying, no, She's fallen asleep already. She must be quite tired. As I recall, this girl is ... Or like, I do believe that this girl is ... Like he has a inkling about her. So all that's in there. He's talking like an old guy again. Super NES, this became fast asleep ... She must have been very tired, period. You said she was ... Okay, that's all really good. Whoa. I really like that for the Super NES. Fast asleep is a little different, but it actually is pretty good on the mark, so we're going to add a point on there. And then this, you said she was, really gets to this. Kokonoko wa tashika. Like he's asking, like he's about to, it's an incomplete sentence, and he's hoping that Cecil will finish it. And then, okay, so this equivalent in J2E is fast asleep already, ... Must have been an exhausting day for one so young, ... Is this girl? All right. So for one so young, this phrase is not present in the Japanese text. This was added in. And it looks like some things got changed over the course of the J2E patch. But it looks like that was always, yeah, it's just only formatting changes. So that for one so young in there is coming from the translator, or not even translator, it's just someone making something up. It's not a big deal, but I wouldn't have liked that. In the translation course, that probably, they'll be like, where did this come from? With a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then is this girl, I don't really like how that is this girl ... That's not what he's hoping for Cecil to finish the sentence. Okay, naming way fast asleep ... She must be exhausted. She's a summoner. All right. I can see what's going on here. This part where she's a summoner, this is where they're trying to get Cecil now to finish the sentence. And he kind of does that when in the next line, as we see. So I'm okay with the flow, because there's a good flow in that one. And I also like that there is no one so young in naming way. Mm-hmm. She must be quite exhausted. There's like a little bit, quite a yohodo is a little bit of an intensifier. Very greatly, much, to a large extent, quite, just about to. So I would have liked a quite in there. Not a huge deal. And then Cecil now responds by finishing the sentence, Misto no ... shoukanshi desu. And that's a caller of mist, or a summoner of mist. But notice the ... in there. And like I keep mentioning, he's very hesitant. He's very upset about everything that he's done. He's basically murdered an entire town.
Cecil.
Yeah, and taken away this girl's mother. And on top of that, he also went into Mysidia and just wrecked everyone over there. And he's been used twice by the king. So he's very hurt, especially by everything that's happened in Mist. And throughout the game, anytime he talks about Mist, you can expect his ... to be there in Japanese.
It's so cool for the main character to have such a complicated history before you even start the game.
Mm-hmm. All right. You said she was a caller of... Okay. Misto no shoukanshi desu. That became a caller of mist. That became, she's a summoner from Mist in J2E. And then because maybe we changed it, so he already says summoner. Cecil just says from Mist Village.
Mm-hmm. That's good flow, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty okay. Now Tellah now continues. Yoi shishitsu o himete oru. She possesses almost... Himeru is an interesting word, and it kind of means that you possess something, but it's kind of latent or secret. So she possesses great qualities, is kind of how that would maybe come across. How does this do Himeru? To hide, sometimes. Okay, shishitsu is again quality of teeth, I'm joking. She possesses good qualities, nature, position. Like the phrasing here suggests that he's able to see this latent potential in her. And then Tellah in Super NES now says she seems gifted as a magic user. That's kind of what's going on. But J2E became, I sense great potential within her. I can see how that would work. Naming Way says she's a very gifted mage, and that could work, but it's the qualities of her that are like hidden within her, like potential within her. And then, so I would say that he's talking about the things that he's seeing in her, like these hidden qualities in her. So the Super NES uses the word seems as his like, I'm not 100% sure because I barely know this girl. But in the Naming Way, we can see how he's very like, just like matter of fact, she's a very gifted mage. Like she doesn't seem to have underlying potential that will unlock or anything like that. It's a very minor detail here. But these are the kinds of things that get lost so easily if you're just machine translating or just like quick translating or not a good translator yourself. I don't like that, so I'm gonna take one off on that. All right, then the next line from Tellah is Shugyo Shugyo tsumeba hoka no mahou mo tsukai konaseru jaro. If she literally like piles up her training, then she'll be able to use and master other spells. And I presume this Jaro is like a uncertainty, but he has some good confidence going on. And Super NES, with proper training, she will be able to wield the magic other than calling monsters. That's interesting because I was just gonna say that this is just about magic in general and not just summoning monster magic. So maybe something about the Super NES or the Japanese devs or staff, maybe they were consulted and asked, are we still talking about summon magic or is it all magic?
But who knows?
Yeah, I can't really tell. But it's basically saying other magic. This other than calling monsters is basically not in the original, is what I'm saying. But it might be already implied. It's hard to say. So I'll just leave that. J2E, she could become quite a gifted sorceress, ... They're saying that she needs training and then could learn new magic. Like, not even learn new magic, like she will master it. Like, Sky Konaseru is different from just normal use. Let me pull that up. Maybe it's on here. Sky Konaseru, Sky Konasu. To handle, to master, to manage, to acquire a command of. It's not just to use. So the fact that she's going to master other spells is a pretty big deal. So that answers the question we were just having here about the calling magic other than calling magic. So that's in there. J2E, I would like to have had that better in there. All right. Then in Naming Way, with proper training, she could do much more than summon Eidolons. I could see where that's going. I'm nice with that. I'm good with that.
Yasashi.
All right. And then he goes, Tellah continues, Skashi kawai ka negao ja, ... He's saying, but more important, or what's a good way to turn, he's turning the conversation now. And he's basically saying, oh, but what a cute sleeping face, ...
She's still a little kid.
Yeah.
Cute.
This became in Super NES, just became one sentence, how sweet, exclamation. And then J2E became such a peaceful face, ... It's cute. I would say it's like adorable. I would probably write the word adorable in here and not peaceful. Why is this here? Is this still just the formatting? So what a cute sleeping face is what he's saying. However, what a cute sleeping face, ... How sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. That's kind of because it fits with the cute. Such a peaceful face. I marked that off already. Such a sweet face. I would have liked that to have sleeping in there or something like that. Because that's what he's commenting on specifically here, not in general. I'll take a point off. I mean the evil picky man at this precise moment. All right, so now he's continuing. Osanai koro no Anna no yoja. She seems like Anna when Anna was young. That's how that comes out. Super NES, just like Anna's childhood. That's fine. And J2E, so much like Anna when she was a child. Okay. And then anyway, much like Anna at her age. I like that. I kind of like at her age. It changes what's being said, but it also makes it a little more natural sounding. All right, so those are all okay. Then now Cecil responds to all of that stuff from Tellah. After Tellah has just mentioned Anna. So Cecil now says, Sono hito wa anata no ... That person is your ... And this is the way a lot of Japanese conversations and especially writing and entertainment will happen, is one person will say something and then kind of hope that the next person will fill in the blanks by saying the rest of the sentence or some kind of sentence. And so that's kind of like what's happening here in Super NES. We see this is a really good example of this, of finishing their sentences. Cecil says, Anna is your ... and then Tellah says, only daughter, period. That's how this is going to play out, yeah. Literally, it technically says that person is your, but Anna, we're talking about Anna, and we probably should focus on bringing her name in. Anna is ... became in J2E. And then Cecil says, Anna, or who's Anna? ? And we can see that the flow here is broken. Who's Anna? ? My daughter, period, is how this is going to be. It's more like Anna is my only daughter. All right, so Tellah is now going to finish this sentence in Japanese. Tada hitori no musume ja. My one and only daughter. Only daughter became a Super NES. My only daughter in J2E. My daughter. Ooh, you messed up. Okay, so Nameway has lost an important detail here. The fact that he has said Tada hitori is like hitori is already like one person, and Tada is sort of saying only. So my one and only daughter, Tada, only is in there, yeah, merely. And then hitori is one person alone. So the detail that it's his one and only daughter is missing here. I took that off, right? Yeah.
I don't remember.
All right. Oops. I think okay. I might have skipped the line there. I'm sorry, everyone.
There might have been more.
All right, but that's okay because I knew we were going to have another big block of text coming up. And here now, Tellah, so basically the window text, the text window closed for a few seconds while they kind of just sit there and gather their thoughts. Like a very slight moment sitting around the fire. Now Tellah starts to talk again. Onushira wa naze damshian ni. Why are you people, why are you guys? Again, he's using onushi for an archaic you, and da is a pluralizer. So why are you going to Damsian? There's a verb missing here. There's always that's pretty common, is verbs are missing. Right, so in Super NES, this became, what do you want to go to Damsian for? Here, this you is now unclear if this is plural or singular, and this happens all the time with the word you in Japanese to English translation. That plural or singular can easily get lost, and as a translator, you want to preserve if you can. So I would probably put the to here with word to.
What do you guys want to go to Damsian for?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So this you could be plural or singular in English, and either one could work. But the reason I marked off a point is because it's clear in Japanese to begin with, and then it becomes ambiguous in translation. You want to try to keep it as clear as possible. Similarly, in J2E, it says, why are you going there? I would have liked them to say, the two of you, or are you both? All right. And then we can see the naming way. It actually is paying attention to that and says, why are you two heading there? And that's good. I really like that. Good job naming way. Or wherever that line comes from. Right. So now Cecil is going to answer that question with Boku no nakama ga Kaipo de kounetsubyou ni takatteru desu. And that's saying my, like singular, my friend, comrade, pal is suffering or has a high fever in Kaipo. And he's being polite and he's being explanatory in Japanese here, yeah. Okay. In Super NES, this became, my friend is suffering from a terrible fever in Kaipo. Okay, that's good. J2E. A friend of mine in Kaipo has an extremely high fever. Okay, that's good. Looks like something changed here. No, not yet. Then, in naming way, my ... friend suffers from desert fever. It's specifically saying desert fever here, but it's just saying high fever. Like Ko Netsubyo. So I'm going to take off one on that because it's adding a detail that is not being divulged or shared yet. And there, okay, I can talk forever on that. Okay, so Tellah says, Sabaku no hikari ka, ... that means just the light of the desert, huh? Or something like that. Are ga nai to watashi demo don ni mo naran. Onushi tachi mo isogi ka, ... He's saying, oh, so the light of the desert, huh? Not even I could do anything about it without it. So he's saying his healing magic wouldn't even help. And then he says, oh, so you two are also in a hurry then, ... Tellah in the Super NES now says, so you need the sand ruby period. So you too are in a hurry. Oh, the part about him saying, like, even I couldn't handle it. Like, even I couldn't fix this is missing from the, that line is entirely missing from Super NES. So we'll take one off there. In J2E, this became, so you're after the light of the desert. Without that, there's not much hope, ... All right, so it looks like there's two sentences missing in this J2E here. The first one is like, even I couldn't fix it, and then you guys are in a hurry. So two misses on that. But while we're here.
Oh.
It used to be in the J2E translation, and then they took that out. Like, so the deal is, I guess, some editor who's not a translator, which is, like, again, I talked about this. It happens a lot when they'll take things out or change things, and they think they're doing okay. They think they're doing good, but they're detracting from it, actually. And then Tellah says in the naming way, so you seek a sand pearl. I like the use of and here now suggests that there are multiple and
A?
Yeah.
You said and.
A, yeah, okay. About 30 more minutes of this and then we'll stop. So you seek a sand pearl, then we must hurry. So the part about him being unable to fix anything is missing in the naming way. Then we must hurry is also not what's being said.
Yeah.
It's saying, so you too are in a hurry. Right. Now Cecil's going to respond. Dokutsu no mo... Okay, he's going to change the subject. Dokutsu no mamono to wa ittai. There's no full verb in the sentence, but the question is basically a question saying, just what is this monster of this cave? And mamono is how is commonly translated as monster in these cases, as like the kinds that, will fight you in battle. But there's other words for monster, where mamono would be kind of weird. Goblin or apparition is how a lot of the older dictionaries will use it, but since games are kind of newer, those dictionaries are still like getting updated. All right, so Cecil says in Super NES, what is the monster of this cavern? Okay, what is what is the monster of this cave? What is the monster in this cavern? This Itai is like emphasizing his questioning of it, like just what the heck is it? You don't really get that in any of these, but I'm not gonna expect that. Okay, so in naming way, this becomes tell me about this cavern's monster.
A command instead of a question.
No. It's not a. Oh yeah, it is a command instead of a question. Although it flows nicely.
Yeah, it does.
Dokutsu no mamono to wa ittai. Tell me about this cavern's monster. I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay.
I can hear it very well in my head. I have voices in my head telling me this line's okay, this line's bad. You can call that line at like 1-900 something.
1-900 bye bad.
Right. So Tellah's now going to tell us about this monster. And Kyodaina Yatsu no Ashi o Motsu Osoroshi Yatsuja. So it's a terrifying one with it's a terrifying giant one with 8 legs, or it's a terrifying one with 8 giant legs. Sometimes it's hard to tell when an adjective is going to deal with like what the adjective is, which part of the word it's dealing with. Sometimes you can read things in multiple ways. There's a really good image. I'll show about that in a future stream. All right, so 8. Ashi. Ashi is like legs. What do we call that? Foot, leg. Yeah. So in Super NES, that all became, it's a horrifying monster with 8 huge tentacles. There's a separate word for tentacle, but Ashi is fine. It'd be weird to call a shokushu here. I would expect it to like do sucker stuff on you. So 8 legs is fine. Or I mean tentacles. Right. It's a huge creature with 8 legs. It's supposed to be terrifying. Osoroshi is one of those highlight words that I would leave. So terrible or dreadful. He's really hyping up this monster more than that we're seeing in the J2E. And then naming way says a dreadful beast with 8 huge tentacles. And that seems to be there. All right, so Tellah's continuing. Anna to onushi no nakama no tame ni mo mazu yatsu o taosanebana. For the sake of Anna and your friend too, first we must defeat it. In kind of an older guy's speech style. This is very emphatic also, this line. You must defeat it first to save Anna and your friend, says Super NES. Okay, that's good. J2E, in order to save Anna and your friend, we've got to beat it first, ... I would have liked that to have been the exclamation. Was it originally? Guess not. Right. In order to save Anna, you gotta beat it first. And then the naming way says we must slay it to save Anna and your friend. And it's a period there. Then Tellah is now continuing to say, Damshian no hou ni kanjirareru fukitsu na keihai ga watashi no ki no sei naraba ii no da ga. Alright. It's a long sentence, but we'll get through it. Right. And then he's saying, I only hope it is my imagination that the ominous presence that I sense. Yeah. So the ominous presence that I sense coming from the Damsian area, I hope it's only my imagination. ... That's missing entirely from the Super NES. Took off a point for that. And then J2E, I hope this horrible feeling I have about Damsian is just my imagination, but ... The flow of this one, in terms of the full conversation, is kind of clunky, but it's there. Then looks like the naming way says, I only hope it's not too late ... So the whole point about like he's restating his ominous feelings that he's getting coming from the Damsian direction, and that he's hoping that's not his imagination. So he's got this strong sense. This is almost like a generic one in naming way. I'll take off a point on that one. You can see how all these little nuances, they're so easy to just slip through your fingers if you're not careful. So you guys, as a translator, it's important to be careful and take your time. The problem is, in the translation world, you're almost always just rushed. There's almost never like a slow down, take your time chance. That is a good thing about fan translations, though. I did get to take my time a bit with like Mother 3 and stuff. All right, here we go. We're getting out of here. Right. And then now he's just saying, all right, let's go. Oh wait, what is this in J2E? All right, let's go. We came from... Yeah, okay, so J2E does this thing. In the old patch, it was all right with 2 words, all and right. And then they changed that to just all right as 1 word. And as you can see, there's a lot of things get lost when we're translating from Japanese into English. All those nuances, they can slip through your fingers, like I said, or you can just accidentally miss them. And so if you can find any like little extra tricks to reinflate ideas back into English in translation, it's nice to have little tricks. And one little trick here is all right and all right. While I was growing up, teachers would always say it's got to be all and right, but everyone uses all right a lot too, as 1 word. So one seems like more formal to me, and one seems more casual, just a little bit, not a huge deal. But the fact that there's a little difference there means we can kind of use it as not a paint, but maybe like a crayon. So sometimes in my translations, I'll use all right if it's like a formal guy speaking, like a scholar. But if it's like some punk cheeky guy like fighting in a bar or something, sticking with just as 1 word, it feels closer to the feeling. Yeah. So it's little tricks like this you can do sometimes in English, and all right is a good one. And most people will probably never know. Alright, let's go.
Yeah, I was taught the same thing, and then so was this person in chat.
Okay.
Keeping it 2 words.
See, this is why it's so good to be doing this. Like if I wrote this on a site, people wouldn't be able to tell me these things. I felt like I was maybe a crazy person.
I remember arguing with you about all right, 2 words and then 1 word, but a long time ago. And that's because we were, how we were taught.
So I forgot that I took off this sword.
Oh yeah.
I was fighting those zombies. We're about to get a new sword, and that's good. So we can see in the J2E, they added descriptions for everything. So this calls it Black Sword, and it's the darkness attack. They added stuff in there. For now, I'm going to put it back on in case my stream brain gets me. Okay. We'll save it here, and then we're going to do a little bit of this dungeon. Let me do a save also, save state also. Alright. We're going to continue north. I mean, I guess that's technically maybe not north, but for some reason we all seem to use that. Alright, we got some more fang fish and things. Fang pals.
Just imagine fish with a human face and I didn't like it.
Yeah, like that Dreamcast game.
I was thinking of Umigari.
Oh. Alright, she's gonna get soon the, what is that? The ice rod. We're gonna get that real soon. For me, that's another, like, important step in this in-game, and whenever I play FF4, getting this blizzard rod, ice rod. Alright, so it's called the ice rod everywhere. It's even in English, even in the Japanese is Aisurodo, and they didn't change that for easy type, so that might signify that both words are well known. Aisu, yeah, in Japanese, if you just say aisu like that, it's kind of short for ice cream. But they also know that as, the English word ice. So if you ask for aisu, if you just go to Japan for some reason, you take a plane, go there, aisu kudasai, you're gonna get ice cream and not ice. Unless you do weird things. Okay, let me get that equipped. I think it increases her magic power too. Oh wait, in the easy type it did. Oh wow. I got a program problem. So I was wrong. Kori no rodo. Kori no rodo. So that's the Japanese word for ice there. Here. Kori. And it has a O, not a U there.
Oh, that's why it turns into kakigori.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kori. Kori no rodo. I feel like I'm getting my pitch accent is absolutely horrendous. I apologize. What I'm thinking I might do is after maybe like 5 more streams, I might like hire a couple people, be like, okay, go through this and give me feedback so I can improve.
Your pronunciation and stuff?
Yeah, maybe I'll do it for English too, because I've always felt my pronunciation in English needs a lot of work too. Like, I feel like in my path moving forward in life, I'm going to need to start talking more in multiple languages. I can't just be this quiet guy I've always been.
The typing is so much easier.
Okay, so we're in the third floor basement of this cave, according to J2E. I don't think there's any... Oh wait, there are some more enemies later. I don't know if we'll get to them.
Lit, Bolt, and Thunder. That's so funny. They're all different.
It sounds like they could be like a group name, like a music name. Like, what is it? Earthfire?
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah.
Alright, we got some money. I definitely think one of these changed in one of these versions. Like, what's in this chest? 580 gil is what we got though. Well, yeah, in the Super NES they called gil. They called it GP, I guess for gold points or something, gold pieces. I'm not really sure, but it kind of fits with MP and HP, so GP.
I always figured it was gold pieces.
I think did they do GP in Final Fantasy III for Super NES also? I get the feeling that it did, and then finally in 7 is when we got gil.
Yeah, 7 was when all bets were off.
I don't even know like what gil means, if anything. If anyone knows what gil is, let me know. Yeah, we found another bomb fragment. We talked about that before, and we took off the point because the J2E translation gets this description wrong, and there's not even a description to begin with, so it messed up like a gameplay mechanic without needing to. But we already marked that one off. I wonder if any others are wrong like that.
Oh, so in FF7 they changed the currency to gil, but they use GP for the amusement park tickets.
That's so cool. I haven't played 7 in like 20 years now. Okay, these guys suck. Well, what are they called? Okay, so we now are fighting some new enemies, and these are like some kind of slimy, mucusy monsters, and they're red. In Japanese, these are called red marshmallows. Wow.
We go 10 to our...
She's celebrating her 10th anniversary with us. Okay, so the fact that these guys are red is important. They're called red marshmallows in Japanese. Even the Japanese word, like the English word for marshmallow, marshmallow, and dedo. In Super NES, they became jelly, just jelly. And J2E, they became marshmallow, and just marshmallow. Originally, they were called red marsh period. I would have preferred that, to be honest. And then the naming way, it's r.moose, like the food. So nothing kind of is exactly the same. And what we're seeing here is pretty indicative of what we're going to see, as we already have, that none of them really get to it. None of them really get to what the original was. And this is a good example of, no matter how many translations you look at or play or read or watch or whatever, they're all just going to be like roundabout, indirect descriptions of the original source. So you can dance around the original all you want, but if you're ever curious, like, what is it actually like? What's the original actually like? You are going to have to go to it. Translators are just like a bridge. You have to go to it. So this is a very basic example of this case. All right. The reason I bring this up, that it's important that they're red, is because it indicates their weakness. And these ones are going to be weak to fire. And you kind of missed that with the marshmallow name. Jelly, you had no idea. Okay. All right. They're kind of not good. They're kind of strong against physical attacks, I believe. Oh, so Rydia does not have fire. So we'll look at see how it does with the blizzard instead. And then we'll look at Tellah do fire. You can see kind of weak the blizzard was. Now we're gonna do the fire, and it's like a whole lot more. So these colors, they're not just like for fun, and the word red in the enemy name is also not just for fun. They're gameplay hints.
I see.
And if you're not thinking, if you're just rushing through, or if you're running a machine translation, you're not going to think about these things.
Especially if you're like your space is limited and you're like, just take out red.
Going to a new section. All right, here's we're back to a different area of basement 4-2. All right, so I'm currently standing in what looks like a dead end, and there's actually a secret corridor right ahead if I start walking, and you don't see it at all in this Japanese version, but in the Super NES version, you do see it. It's like kind of blue. You can start to see some of the
a little path.
Yeah, a little path that you can take. There's actually a couple paths and secret paths here. I think this might be the first case where this happens too. I forget what happens in easy type. I've documented it though. So anyway, you can see how I can walk through. And I can go up to this chest over here, but I gotta fight some fish guys.
I was hoping you were on the red marshmallows because we got 2 people in the chat saying they were confused as a kid because a red, that assumes fire elemental is not weak to fire.
Yeah, yeah.
So some people thought, okay, use ice.
Yeah. But I just did, you gotta use your scientific theory. What is that, scientific process? What's that called?
But yeah, it's no matter what, it's confusing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just interesting.
It's definitely a game design problem there.
Oh.
Well, calling that jelly doesn't help.
No.
Rydia has gained a level, so does Cecil. Okay, so Rydia just learned poison. Poison. I don't even think that's how we. Yeah, okay. Poison is the word for poison, coming from ours. Then that became venom in Super NES. I'm gonna assume because of the 5-letter limit there.
Oh, you're right.
And then poison is called in J2E, and it's called poison in Namely.
Could have just been called poise.
This brings up another thing. As a translator, you do kind of have to know. You have to be able to like cut through, put a cut or a line through words to know that. How do I explain this? I see I'm losing my brain, but basically poison and venom are different in English. Mm-hmm. They're not the same thing. And as a translator, you kind of want to be aware of this thing just ahead of time in case it does matter at some point. Here it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. But there's a difference in English between poison and venom. So
venom just sounds cooler though.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes those differences will matter. Okay. There's just a weird shortcut to get here, and not even really a shortcut. Alright, we got a potion. We went all through that to get a potion. But guess what? There's another secret.
But we gotta fight some fish.
Oh, we're doing
those. Yeah, we're
doing a big battle here.
Yo, it's a whole clam bake up in here.
Cecil's just been doing this dark wave like crazy this whole time. If he had been playing FF2, it would have been a little bit more of a struggle to get through here because he doesn't have, I think dark wave has a elemental to it, or at the very least, it's not weak like his sword is. Oh yeah, let's use this ice rod. I like to use the ice rods in this area. It's a nice, good free spell. Didn't work very good. All right, let's do an oh boy remember. We're gonna have Tellah remember stuff.
That's so cool.
Uh-oh. The sea pots are retreating. I would really like to know what she pots is. I feel like it might be some really weird cultural thing in some other culture, and it's just strangely written. See, I could be running from all these, but I don't feel like it's a good idea. I don't feel like it's a good idea. I really like Rydia's animation when she's doing her spell there. It's kind of cute. Tellah looks kind of cool too when he does his magic. He looks kind of like he's about to shoot a fireball at you.
What kind of shenanigans are you getting into?
Yeah, the fact that there's all these hidden things too. It was amazing. Like there's secrets in this game, like really good secrets, and they kind of want you to find them. Mm-hmm. And if coming from FF1, FF1 just felt very rigid. Okay, so we got a like feather capped cap, a feather in a cap, or yeah, a feathered cap is how this would work. Hanetsuki Boshi. Hane Tsuki. Well, Hane is a like feather, and Tsuki is just like attached. Hane Tsuki. And then Boshi is cap or hat. So that's how that's coming about. That became a leather cap in Super NES for some reason. Yeah, I'm gonna mark that one off because that's just.
That seems wrong.
This became plumed hat in J2E and plumed
Is
something
weird.
in Nameway. Yeah, they like to use the plumed, I guess.
They should have called it macaroni.
This is also.
You get it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a cultural reference. The Japanese viewers will have to look that up.
Yeah.
Onegaishimasu. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good armor. Who should we give it to?
She needs the most armor, right?
7 and 4 becomes 8 and 6. That's pretty good. He can tank his way through here. I'm not worried for him too much. I'll give a potion to someone. Does Nameway have icons? So the icon situation is so weird. No one's really consistent with icons. And because I can't really use icons easily in normal standard fonts, I just put that asterisk for everything. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to get through this cave and we're going to step outside and then we'll save it there. That little like rest area outside. Oh, my stomach's starting to rumble.
Before the battle.
Yeah. We won't get to where I wanted to exactly, but we'll do it later.
No spoony bar today.
Yeah, no spooning bar. That'll be next time. That'll probably be one of the ones people watch more just because of the nature of it. So I gotta like plan ahead of how I want to handle it. Or we could just do like Spoonie Bard's extravaganza day or something. And just have spoons
Bring
everywhere.
your spoons.
Yeah, bring your spoons next time.
Learn how to make music with spoons on your knee.
Oh,
Gosh.
took one step and got another fight.
Oh, it feels like
And I lost money as a result. Alright. We are now at the north entrance of the underground water vein. This became Watery Pass North in Super NES Underground Channel N in J2E. Watery Underpass North. The fact that it's the north exit does not come into your mind immediately. It just means like, oh, I guess I'm in the northern
the
area.
north area.
Yeah, but it's north exit. The fact that it's an exit is kind of important. I'm not going to mark it off because you can see like how little that text box is. There's no way you're going to fit anything in there. Oh, get out of here. I'm losing all the money I got from their friends.
This is their revenge. They're getting it back. Let's get them, boys.
I kind of hate walking around here because now there's some frog guys who can frog us.
I remember.
And they're kind of hard. But there's some good stuff here. We got an ether from this chest. And we got the Nankyoku no Kaze. Nankyoku no Kaze is like the South Pole wind. Like literally, Nan is south, Kyoku is like pole, and Kaze is wind. So Nankyoku no Kaze, but usually we'll just translate Nankyoku as Antarctic or Antarctica. And this doesn't exist in the Super NES, so it just says found dummy. It's another one of those spell items that you can use for free one time in battle. This became received Antarctic in J2E and Antarctic in Nameway. But literally it's south, like South Pole.
Would it? See, I would want to change it to cold wind. Or would that be bad?
Oh, no, I would do South Pole. I wouldn't want to. I mean, if you have to trim it down, then you can try it. Alright, so we saw that the bomb fragment description was faulty earlier. Now we have a similar one with ice. And so let's see if there's any faulty descriptions here. Oh, it looks like the easy type also renames. Oh yeah, so because it doesn't exist in easy type, it's called dummy. So the J2E calls Antarctic wind ice attack to all targets. And Nameway says hit all enemies with ice. So it looks like they're in alignment now.
Yeah.
But that one was not. Oh, okay. I usually like to stick those junks over here. I'm gonna stick this bomb fragment and stick it over here.
My instinct of wanting to call it a cold wind, that's because I'm not a translator.
Like, it's not just cold, it's like the polar cold.
Yeah.
Is the deal.
Polar vortex. That'd be cool.
All right, here's some zombies again. I don't really like zombies.
Oh, we didn't lose money.
Yeah, it's random.
Oh, okay.
To try to discourage you from running all the time.
Yeah.
After a while, that money that you lose is nothing. Alright. We got... so see this little area down here? Like, down in here? I always kind of wanted to try to get down in there and see if there's anything new. I think you can, and after years, you come up through there at some point or something. It was something I always wanted as a kid, and the fact that you got to do it after years was like a nice little thing. Alright, so in the chest we got the Do no Tsunadoke, and that's like the copper or bronze hourglass, sand clock. And we saw that earlier.
Yeah.
But let's look at its description just in case, because maybe it's also faulty. Okay. This says stops time for all targets and J2E and stuns all enemies in the enemy. I'm not sure which one it does, but since it's like time related, I think it's gonna be time. I'd probably... Nah, it doesn't matter. If you're gonna add descriptions, make sure that they're proper. Alright, we're about to... Okay, so we're about to leave this cave now. And when we leave this cave, we're gonna go back outside. But then that just outside is another cave that'll take us back in. We're gonna go outside and then save it and do a tent, and then end for the night. But at the moment, just before we exit, Tellah stops to say, "Koko kara ittan chijou ni dera." Oh, okay. "Koko kara ittan chijou ni dereru." And he's saying, from here we can go outside for a bit, for a moment, temporarily. Okay, that dereru got me. It's kind of, it makes sense why it did. We can go out from here. It says that there. So out, I guess out means outside, that's okay. We can go outside from here. Literally it means above ground. Chijou, like we can go above ground here rather than out, but it's not a big deal. Naming ways seems to be missing, so I'm gonna take that off. Then Tellah continues, "Yatsu wa konosaki no taki no shita ni oru." He or it or whatever is is beneath the waterfall up ahead. Exclamation. Remember, he's really ready to take care of this guy. And then let's see. In Super NES, the monster is in the cave beyond there. So he's saying actually it's in the waterfall below. We're about to go into a cave and then we jump down a waterfall. So this feels like this was changed maybe from a game mechanic, just like go to the cave and then the rest will take care of itself. But it's also missing the emphasis. And because those two things might add up to maybe -1, I'll do that. Then in J2E, the monster lies under the upcoming waterfall. Okay, that's good. Tellah in naming way says the beasts in the cave beyond. I'm gonna take that off for the same reason I did for SNES. Also, it just seems like it's pulling from SNES. Then we got more. Nen no tame chijou de tento demo hatta go ho. Nen no tame chijou de tento demo hatta ho ga yoi jaro. Just to be safe, we should pitch a tent or something above ground. Exclamation. Alright. So that tent or something, or we should pitch a tent or something in the Japanese, and the easy type, I got changed. And it changed into Yasun de oita ho ga yoi jaro. And that means it would be best if we rested up ahead of time.
You missed
outside.
the chest.
I did? Where was it? Oh, the sword? I do want to get the sword, yeah. Let me get that sword. That sword's going to be important for our money trick that we're going to do tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, Monday. Alright, so there was a change there in the easy type. So in the Super NES, that same line became we should camp to regain our strength out there. It's telling you to use a tent. Use a tent item is what's happening here. We're still sort of in the beginning of the game. And he's been teaching us about safe spots, and now he's doing it again. Now's our chance to use what he's taught us, basically. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, the just in case. The just in case is missing in the SNES. Then the just in case is kind of neat. So I'm gonna take that out. J2 he says it would be wise to camp in a tent in the overworld just in case. I like that because it does the just in case. It also does for Chijo, the like above ground. They use Chijo is often translated as overworld, but that overworld when it's like this feels like it's a game mechanic word.
Yeah. Now I want to start calling outside. I want to call it overworld.
You got to go over to the overworld to get some groceries. It's awkward, but I'll stick with it. What do we have here? Oh, this used to be something quite a bit different in the old J2E. Tellah seems to have used to say, through is the outside? Oh. Yeah, this thing isn't very easy to read. Monsters below. Okay, there's not too much going on here. It's kind of rewording. It was like just an editor rephrasing things, but without breaking the things. Alright, and then finally, in naming way, we should use a tent and rest, just in case. It doesn't talk about the overworld, or I mean the above ground, but I don't think that's important. Because it's already pushing us to the cave beyond. It's not clear.
I would assume we should rest here.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's really nice to have that. Because I was just now realizing that there's no clear evidence that we're about to go above ground now. Mm-hmm. Like, we're just going to go, there's another cave that we have to go to.
Yeah, I would assume the caves are connected.
Yeah. Alright, so I took that off. Alright, so we'll get that. That's actually like the most important item in this whole place. And for some reason... Alright, so this is the Shadow Blade. This is Cecil's next weapon. And it became the Darkness Sword, I guess. Okay, so Shadow Blade is Shadow Blade in English words. I bet when we go into our item menu, this will change in easy type. So Darkness, the Darkness Sword, it became an SNES. It became Shadow, presumably Sword icon in J2E, and it's the same with naming way. Okay, Shadow Blade. Okay. Let's look at it real quick. Shadow Blade. Looks like Easy Type did indeed change it because these are English words. It changes to Yami no Tsurugi, and that's the Sword of Darkness. Yami is such a good word. Yami. Darkness, the dark. Black marketeering, dark shady illegal.
Is that why his name is Yami Yugi?
Dark is this? I don't know much about.
I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
I know he changes.
Okay. Like, isn't that like there's like a shadow world people go when they die or something?
Boy, I don't know.
Alright, so Shadow Blade, Darkness Attack. Alright, actually let's put this on. I think this gives us like 10 extra points. Yep. That's a pretty good boost for Cecil there. Alright, let's go. We're 11 hours in, everyone. Alright, so here you can kind of see how this is what we were talking about if you're unfamiliar with the game. The cave leads outside, but the outside is kind of like cut off from everything anyway. And it still just leads back into the mountains as a cave, a separate cave. So we're going to go walk up to this other cave and then do a tent like they were saying. Well, you're still in your work clothes. That's a good outfit you got. I like it. And then we're going to do a save. Uh-oh, we got 1101. If you're an Earthbound fan, please rise up for the anthem.
Punctuated by Zoo.
The spell is now complete with the cat's word. Alright, so we're going to stop it here. And then what I'm thinking we're going to do next time, on Monday hopefully, is I want to do my item duplication trick. I guess I don't have to do it right now. Okay, so we're just going to go back into this cave here. We're going to finish this dungeon and fight the boss at the end that Tellah is so eager to defeat. Then we'll end up going to Damsian Castle, and that's where the Spoony Bard scene unfolds. And probably what I'll do is I'll do a bunch of Spoonie Bard discussion ahead of time, like at the start of the stream, and show off like how Spoonie Bard is a big deal in English and all the different versions of it. And then I'll explain how like in Japan they didn't really have that. And then I don't know, it's gonna be weird. It'll be spoony. Like I said, this is probably gonna be one of the streams. The Spoonie stream will end up being one of the more viewed ones. Anyway, thank you guys for coming along on this weird journey today. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube like almost immediately after this. It might take a while to upload. So if you miss any of these streams, don't worry, they're not gonna get deleted from Twitch. I'm gonna put them on YouTube. Check out my YouTube. What else? Oh, also speaking of YouTube, I find the comments, trying to keep up with the comments on YouTube is so difficult, especially if this is going to be across multiple videos. Even when I do like the comment, list them in order thing, it doesn't seem to do it. I don't see all the comments for some reason.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that I might get caught trying to answer lots of comments and that it might take a lot of my time. So if I don't answer your questions on YouTube, please don't feel upset. Yeah, we gotta end. This cat is about to end us.
He's restless.
Alright, so thanks for coming by. Check out the other videos that we've done before if you haven't already.
And we'll see you Monday.
Alright everyone, see you around. There's no credits, so you're gonna have to hum a tune.
Oh, we didn't learn a new word. It's okay.
You learned... we learned something. I taught things.
Okay.
Alright, see you guys around.